Welcome to the first show of March. Believe it or not, it's brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. Welcome to the Monday installment. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Witko, joined alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Dave Thomas, and of course Colson running the whole show, making sure that we're staying on the air, staying on the stream at SportsCage.com, as well as our YouTube channel. And a quick little shout out here. We also have Jason Wood in the house. His day is day one today, so I don't know why they stuck him in here with me and Dave, but yeah, you made it this far.
It's all about corruption.
Woo! We'll take it. But yeah, in like a lamb, I guess. March. I was thinking about that this morning.
Do you buy into that lion thing?
No, because it's March in Saskatchewan, and it's never consistent. We're gonna get another dump of snow. We all know that.
I just always thought that it was the teachers that kind of promoted that because it was too easy crafts for the start and the beginning of the month, right? You either make a lion or a lamb.
Time for them to go have a coffee break.
I'm not suggesting that. I was just saying that you don't have to be as creative when the ideas are handed to you.
You know what? Work smart, not hard. March to me just means Shamrock Shake season. Everybody gets all freaked out about pumpkin spice. Step aside. I'm not into those seasonal flavors, really. But I couldn't care less about pumpkin spice. But Shamrock Shakes, I'm in.
I think I'm the only person on the planet that doesn't like them.
You're probably not the only person, but you got to give them another chance. They hit different this time of year.
But it tastes like you're drinking a tube of toothpaste.
No. This is where we're going to disagree. We're going to disagree on a few things throughout the afternoon today, I'm sure.
That could happen.
We do have a heck of a show lined up, though. We are going to talk to Pothakos, Regina Red Sox head coach, director of scouting and baseball operations. We haven't had a chance to chat with Rye since it was announced that he would be returning for the 2026 season with the Regina Red Sox, and this will be his 11th year. I'm sure he's definitely seen some things with that franchise, and there is going to be more changes coming in 2026. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say. World Baseball Classic also starts this week.
True.
So there's no shortage of things to discuss there. As always, we will have your clutch performer and sprinkle of the day. We also have J.D. Haughton swinging by. He is the director of hockey administration and broadcasting for the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. Playoffs got underway this weekend.
Those Warriors are a darn good team.
Yeah.
And it is some real good hockey when the Pat Canadians and the Moose Jaw Warriors got together. And I apologize to every other team in the league, but those are the only two teams that I've seen play this year.
How dare you? You're not busy enough.
No, I know. But again, there's you look at the Warriors, you look at their roster. The kids that are going to be going to the Western Hockey League from that team are gigantic. And again, the Regina Pats are no slouch, but this is some pretty good hockey for the under 18 level, and I'll tell you, I like it more than the pro level.
Really?
I absolutely do, because under 18 AAA, if you haven't been to a game, it's what the World Juniors used to be.
That is a valid point.
Because it is not robotic. The kids have to make decisions on their skates, and so you have to play the team system. There's so many various levels that come into play. And like I say, that's what the World Juniors used to be. It wasn't perfection all the time. It was literally kids playing hockey and going out there and seeing if they could execute their game plan. Don't get me wrong, it's at a much higher level than it ever has been before. But boy, it's fun hockey.
We are very lucky to live in Saskatchewan, where we have so many of these talented teams right in our own backyard. And it's really reasonable, family-friendly nights out, right? So go to the rink. Check out some of this playoff hockey. Also, we were both at the rink on Saturday night as the Regina Pats welcomed in the Saskatoon Blades. So we're going to chat with Ken Schneider, Pats assistant head coach, who will come by, talk a little bit. Maybe we'll have to bring up the fact that they got a little rowdy on Friday night in Brandon.
Well, there's some people that really like that rowdiness, and there's some people that really don't like that rowdiness. And I got to hear both sides of that while I was sitting in the stands, just eavesdropping on Saturday night at the Brandt Center.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere.
Oh, it was a great atmosphere.
Big win for the Regina Pats as well.
But there were some people that were really loving the fact, and if you didn't see the fireworks at the end of the game, you can find them at SportsCage.com. There were some people that really liked that. There were some people that really didn't.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk more about that here in just a second.
Okay, I'm leaving it there.
I do want to mention Dave, you had a great conversation with Jonathan Stevens of Etonia, Saskatchewan. You might recognize that name as a linebacker for the Saskatoon Hilltops. The Waterloo, I should say, is going to be playing host to the CFL Invitational Combine this Friday. One of the many invitees is Jonathan Stevens.
Yeah, and of course, Rider fans will recall he was with the team for most of the summer up until the Hilltop season started in August. So he worked his way to be a territorial exemption onto that practice roster from training camp. The Riders loved what he saw. He had the first interception of training camp for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this season, and now he's got an opportunity to try to translate that into an opportunity in the CFL, and it's pretty meticulous, the things that they go through to get ready.
So we got a little bit of everything covered, from baseball to hockey to football and everything in between. But let's go back to that very feisty Friday night first, shall we? It was feisty across all the leagues when it came to hockey. Yeah. I mean, there was a fight in the SJHL and that Kindersley Clippers game. I saw there was multiple goalie fights on Friday. One of them in the AHL, a goalie fight, Springfield Thunderbirds game. That one got heated. There was a tarp pulled off one of the goaltenders, and it was lit up. It was a lot of fun to watch. At least I didn't watch the whole game, I'll be honest, but I did see clips online. And then I'm sure everybody is understanding what Dave was just alluding to. Friday night in Brandon, Regina Pats are there, and there was another goalie fight. No, we're not going to show it on the stream, but Dante, our play-by-play voice, Dante DeCaria, he paints a pretty nice picture for us.
Rollison battling for it, and that'll do it. And we got a dog pile at the end of the game. Here we go. Sportsov and Jonas Kodak. We got a goalie fight at center. Tabashnik will drop the gloves with Philip Ruzicka at center ice. Tabashnik will drop the gloves at center ice. Here we go. Tabashnik grabs onto him, and he starts fighting with Philip Ruzicka. A volley fight. Tabashnik and Ruzicka get after it. Unbelievable. Tabashnik with a couple of rights. Ruzicka comes over the top and takes him down. Oh my! A goalie fight. I haven't seen that since Kelton Pine and Jackson Unger.
That is such a call, and that is now the trendy thing to do in hockey these days.
I hate to say it, but I don't often get predictions right. And somewhere, somehow, if Colson put his mind to it, I'm sure that he could find me saying that this is now going to become a trend after it happened in the NHL earlier this year.
We might have to go back and see if we can find that clip.
Well, it would be a lot of searching, so I wouldn't put that upon anyone. But what I am saying is that, again, monkey see, monkey do at every level of hockey, right? And now this is the new trend. And it doesn't come without a price, right? Like, so the Western Hockey League, they suspended the two head coaches, including Brad Harrah, for a game. The Pats, I believe, were fined $1,000, but it's $500 for the first multi-fight incident, and then $500 if it's a goalie fight. So there's $1,000 there. So it doesn't come without a price. Is it the price of entertainment? You tell me.
Well, I mean, it's a valid topic of discussion right now, because it isn't the first time that we've been talking about goalie fights on this program. We want to know what you think, though. That's our SportsCage poll right now. So go to sportscage.com, let us know what you think, or you can text us anytime on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. But how do you personally feel about goalie fights in hockey? They're either great, love them, entertaining. Is it old school hockey? They're a waste of time is another one of these options. Why would the goaltenders risk injury and get involved? And then finally, they are barbaric. You want to take a guess as to which one is leading the way on our poll?
Ooh, I would guess that people probably find them entertaining.
You know what? That is only 14% of the vote right now. So leading the way, quote, they are a waste of time. Why would a goaltender risk an injury and get involved? So with 39.5% of the vote, we want to hear what you have to say. So again, Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. And also, if you want to go check out the Pats game at the Brand Center tomorrow night, this could be a potential first-round playoff matchup because the Medicine Hat Tigers are in town, second in the conference. The Regina Pats, 7th.
And it's the first of two meetings in 7 days between the two teams. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer even though you wouldn't know it by some of my mannerisms when I coach. I'm a firm believer, though, in setting a tone. And you need to show that you're willing to compete, you're willing to overcome obstacles, you're willing to overcome challenges, and you're not afraid of your opposition. Now, that sounds really, really harsh. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't think that anybody is afraid of their opponent, but you need to show that you're not going to be intimidated by your opponent. And I think that's a big opportunity for both teams.
I think that the Regina Pats have momentum on their side right now. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. They're coming off that big home win Saturday night in their own barn. It's a tight turnaround, but it should be some pretty entertaining hockey.
You know what? I was extremely impressed by the Regina Pats on Saturday night for a couple of reasons. Number one, Maddox Schultz. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a terror for Saskatoon all night.
He was the best player on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Best player on the ice. Saskatoon didn't have a lot of answers for him. And it wasn't even just the things that he was doing with the pucks, 2 goals and an assist, but also what he was doing without. Like, so defensively responsible. You can see the level of coaching that he has got. Like, in his own zone, his coverage was fantastic. Head on a swivel all night long trying to find where he needed to be. If you remember, the last time the Blades were here, it was Maddox that was kind of picked on, right? Because the Blades scored the overtime winner by getting around him in that 3-on-3 overtime session. So you don't, again, it was 3-on-3. And we all know how much we love 3-on-3 hockey in our country right now. But Maddox Schultz was a difference. The way that the team, they scored the first goal with Maddox, and then they gave up 2. And again, there was no slowing down. They continued to execute their game plan. The first period, they relied on Marek Schlenker, who was good. Your goaltender has to be good. And then in the second, third period, I thought they took things over, right? They really started to dominate the game. And I was so impressed just to see where they were from a couple of weeks ago even.
Well, they doubled up the Saskatoon Blades. 2 big points for the Regina Pats, as we only have 10 games remaining on the schedule for the Regina Pats before we get to the postseason. So,
the unfortunate thing is they're starting to get a little nicked up.
Yes.
And obviously you want to be your best at the time when the best is required, which is the playoffs. And I know that's such a cliche. I'm so sorry for doing that.
But they haven't locked up their position in the conference yet. So that's the other thing, right? Like, they are still going to be grinding this out, and Ken Schneider, I'm sure, will tell us more about that as he's in a little bit later on. But if you want to go to that game tomorrow night, it's going to be a good one. We're giving away a pair of tickets on the Prairie Land Rentals text line throughout the afternoon. It's simple. All we ask is that you just send us a text with the word Pats and then your name. 306-936-6262. That's the Prairie Land Rentals text line. And if you want to suck up to Colson, he's the one making the draw. So feel free to do that as well. He just gave me a little smirk. Maybe. He doesn't drink coffee, though.
Bribes.
But you don't drink coffee, so don't try to bribe him with Timmy's. Maybe a Shamrock Shake?
Oh, I'd take that.
Really?
Ooh, see?
Oh, wow. That explains a lot.
2 against 1. Shamrock Shakes. They're the best.
I'm just going to turn your mic off, Dave.
You really did.
Oh, man. Couple of other hockey-related items we should chat about here quickly, because I don't want to take up all the time here. But New York Islanders phenom Matthew Schaefer. What? Are you watching this, kid? So he became the 4th defenseman in NHL history to get 20 goals in their rookie season. And he got that officially yesterday in that Panthers game.
Full marks. He plays a lot of ice time. Like, his minutes aren't being,
It's like 25 to 29 minutes or something like that.
Absolutely. They're not slowing down with him. They continue to give him the opportunity, and he's making the most of it. Like, talk about it. They usually say, right, so a forward has the least transition that they need to do from wherever they were playing, whether that's college, whether that's playing in junior into the NHL, then it's a defenseman, then it's goaltenders, which have longer development, right? But, boy, as a defenseman, he is stepping up. And could you imagine what he would have done if he was on the World Junior team? Like, good grief. Wow.
Well, he's not even 19 yet.
No, I know, right?
He's got a long career ahead of him, and he is just a very fun player to watch. Shifting over to PWHL, a sold-out crowd, over 17,000 people at the Seattle Torrent game. That's a new record for the largest attendance at a women's hockey game in the United States, and I think the American women's hockey team may have had a little something to do with that at the Olympics. Maybe a little bit of an Olympic bump.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There is so much. Like, I don't know. Did you see the Saturday Night Live with the Quinn Hughes or the Hughes brothers? And then they brought out the 2 ladies from the women's hockey team. And I thought it was awesome. Spectacular. And again, they're getting a lot of love, and it's going to grow the game. And that's a good thing.
It is absolutely a good thing. Like, we see these women's programs continue to grow. I mean, even here in Saskatchewan, the Gull Lake Falcons made history, beating the Domini Sabres over the weekend, crowned the first ever Steffes Cup champions in the inaugural Saskatchewan Senior Women's Hockey League season. That's cool. That's instantly a historic moment because it's their first ever year doing this.
Yeah, and there was a lot of excitement in and around Dalmany, and Dalmany's got a beautiful rink, great facility. I have driven the Zamboni in the Dalmany Arena. Absolutely.
How are their rink burgers?
Oh, they're all good.
Yeah?
I've never met a rink burger I didn't like, can't you tell? But
they just hit different.
I'm just saying that there really was a buzz in the community, which is really awesome for the first ever, right? So that's cool.
Well, such a success in their first ever SSWHL season. Also in the WHL, Penticton Vs were in Moose Jaw over the weekend, and they set a new record in the CHL for an expansion team with the most amount of wins at 38 wins. They broke that record.
You know what? It's amazing how expansion has changed
so
over
much.
the years. Like, you look back at some of the other expansion franchises, like when Edmonton first came in before they relocated to Kootenay and Cranbrook, but when they came in, like they didn't even have, like, it was terrible. The expansion draft was terrible. They didn't get a list to work with. They didn't get a top 3 pick in the Bantam draft. It was like they were set up to fail, but now no more. If you're paying millions of dollars to get into the Western Hockey League, they're going to take care of you and make sure you get in and have a successful team to start. And that all started with the Everett Silvertips. When they first came in, that was when they changed the model for how it would look with new franchises entering the league. And they've just built upon it from there. And again, Penticton had so much success at the junior A level. There was a question mark, right? Okay, what happens if things don't go that well in the Western Hockey League?
Yep.
Well, they've proven it went pretty well in the Western Hockey League.
They're doing okay.
Yeah.
They're doing just fine. I do appreciate the way that they do expansions in the CHL now rather than how they do it in the NHL, right? Because when you look at CHL teams, you have a 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
So if you start off really solid, all those players are gone in 4 years. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll get you started off. Now have fun. Figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Right.
There's a lot of people really upset with the whole, Vegas expansion year. So.
Yes, that's true.
We don't need to go down that rabbit hole, though. At the Briar.
Is that all the hockey we've got?
Do you want to? Is there more? Is there more that you want to mention?
I've been waiting for you to have, again, big Canucks fan here.
Oh,
and again,
yes.
I keep waiting for you to tell me that Elias Pettersson has been traded.
I'm refreshing my page all the time here because there was someone who maybe prematurely sent out a tweet
that he had been
that the deal was done with Detroit, but there is nothing official. They are, quote, aggressively pursuing Pettersson still.
But they wanted Tyler Myers, too, did the Detroit Red Wings from the Canucks. Again, it's a fire sale in Vancouver. But there's some guys that...
Are you okay? I haven't checked in on you in a while.
No, I'm okay. I am completely okay. They botched the franchise when they made the worst trade in NHL history, when they traded JT Miller. And I get it, he's a disruptive force in the dressing room.
Yeah.
But in my humble opinion, the Vancouver Canucks completely misread the situation. And again, I think that Elias Pettersson just isn't it.
You're not a fan. As soon as I said that earlier to you, off air, your reaction was a bit different, Dave. As a Vancouver Canucks fan.
Wasn't it something like, I just hope they don't retain any of his salary?
Yeah.
Give us pucks, give us a couple of nets for the goal. Like, I don't care.
A Zamboni driver, anything.
That's right, anything.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll keep you updated on that throughout the show. I'm just going to continue to refresh this as often as I can until that good news comes, and then your week is made.
Celebration time.
You're welcome. Have that celebratory sound effect ready to go, Colson, just in case.
Yeah, the hole-in-one.
So at the Briar, we should talk some curling.
We should.
Again, this might be the most invested I've been in curling these past 3 weeks than I have been in my entire life. This has been so much fun to watch. We almost saw an injury on Friday.
Oh, good grief. I've never seen that happen before.
In curling.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. So the Quebec front end was sweeping a rock going down the ice, leaning on the broom hard and heavy like they do now, right? Like they're on their tiptoes providing max force. And you're going to get a look at it if you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, on X, on YouTube, wherever the case may be. But it's going down, and then the sweeper went down.
Oh.
Yes, Link. Leading.
Yes, line.
Broke the brew.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yes.
That did not look like it tickled. Like,
No.
that had to have hurt.
Broom snapped in half. And again,
He hits the ground.
oh yeah, I thought for sure shoulder dislocation. And then how about the skip starts
so hard
chuckling
not to
about it?
laugh.
Like, at least there's a little bit of laughter, and like they had to bring out a mop to get all the shards of fiberglass off and everything like that. But again, I'm surprised you haven't seen it more often. Like Ben Hebert, when he's leaning on his broom and going haul
That's all
out,
your body weight.
it's everything down. Like, that's a massive amount of force. But yeah, it was. I'll just.
And then the French swear words that came out of the skip's mouth.
You know what? And good on him to keep it in French, right? Save the fine from Curling Canada. But
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to repeat it, so I'm not going to. But yes, they used a very popular en français swear word.
But they at first they said the rock wasn't burnt, and I don't understand, because to me I'm like, that had to be burnt by the rotations that it gained. Anyways, again, you don't see that every day, but Quebec, though, they've rebounded, and it was unfortunately against Kelly Knapp this morning, and Kelly had an opportunity, a huge opportunity, dare I say, to go ahead and get himself into a position. He split his opening weekend games. He's playing Quebec. It's going to be a game where these two teams are really going to be battling it out. Many would anticipate come the end of the week, and the tiebreaker is head-to-head matchups. So you got to kind of win it, even though it's in game number 3. But Kelly had an amazing opportunity to score multiple points in the 6th end. He had a angle raise, double takeout, and again, it's a mouthful, so you know it's a hard shot. But he could have scored 3, maybe even 4, and unfortunately missed it. And again, now the new cliche in curling is was on the wrong side of the inch. Gave up a steal of 1 and just couldn't recover. Even though he was up 1 going into the 10th end, Quebec held on for an 8-7 win.
And that means, where are we at here? So Nat fell to Quebec, as you mentioned, 8-7. So they're 6th place in Pool A.
Yep.
And the Saskatchewan McEwen rink took on Northern Ontario. That game just wrapped up right before we came to air here. 5-1 was the final in that one. So victorious. They are now 3rd in Pool B. And then, yes, that one more match for Nap this evening against PEI.
Must win.
Yeah.
Both teams, Knapp is 1 and 2. Tyler Smith from PEI is 1 and 3. And again, there's residency rules and whatnot in curling right now, but it was funny. Somebody told me, Mike McEwen isn't really a Saskatchewan team. I'm like, well, Dan and Kevin Marsh are from Saskatoon, Colton Flash is from Saskatoon, and Mike just happens to be from Winnipeg. So they're following the rules. They've done everything they should to make them eligible to play for Saskatchewan. Well, the skip isn't from Saskatchewan, so they're not really a Saskatchewan team. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves on that one, because that one blows my mind.
That's a new one, but at least it's not people constantly reminding us that Saskatchewan hasn't won a Brier since 1980. How sick are they of hearing that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like talking about the last Canadian team that won the Stanley Cup. We know. We get it.
Yeah. Understood.
So at least if there's this different controversy, I'll take it. It's fresh.
I guess so.
It's a new perspective.
But to say that they're not a Saskatchewan team just kind of hurts.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? Because people are saying that, I hope they take it all.
But because then the argument could be made for Rachel Holman's team, right? They curl out of Ontario, and she lives in Edmonton. She's lived in Edmonton for years with her husband. They practice in Edmonton. They hold curling clinics in schools in Edmonton. But nobody seems to be saying that.
Yeah, I think we're focusing on the wrong things here.
Yeah, that's right. True.
Like, more importantly, how many curling injuries do you think that there are annually? I looked this up.
You did? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's going to be a fair share. I don't know. Like a number
Do you think that there's a lot of injuries in curling?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I remember, who was it? Pat Simmons, when he was curling in a tankard or a Brier, one of the two. And Pat is a chiropractor, so he kind of knew the adjustment that he needed, but he was being constantly worked on because he could barely bend his back. Same with Brad Gushu. And Pat Simmons worked on Brad Gushu. And they're competitors. Like, that tells you a lot about the curling, doesn't it? When the competition is helping you get back on your feet.
Well, and yeah, Pat actually had his practice out in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, he did. That's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
Back in the day.
So, but I'd say there's injuries, but
yeah. But those would typically be strains or you pull something.
Okay.
I mean, like, you're falling, your broom breaks, you're getting a concussion.
Oh, okay.
Instant injury, we'll say.
Instant for sure. And those falls, are not, you don't mess around with those falls.
No.
So I don't know. What's the number?
3.5% of curling participants annually in North America get an injury.
Really?
3.5%.
See, I'm thinking about taking up curling more seriously.
You should.
I would wear a helmet, though. Would I be?
I mean, there might be some whispers behind your back, but no one's going to say anything to your face for trying to be safe.
I wouldn't wear a visor or anything, but I'd probably wear a helmet.
What about a full face mask?
Tinted visor, please.
No, but I think it would.
Okay, are you thinking like hockey helmet or are you thinking football helmet?
Not football helmet. It would be a hockey helmet.
Why not?
Bicycle helmet, come on.
Oh.
Bike helmet, no.
We can get you
I
a
don't need
SportsCage
aerodynamics.
branded bike helmet.
I don't think so.
Well, we got to get more of our logos out there, Dave.
Okay. Sure. Why don't I just wear a goalie mask then?
I
then
love
you can
that.
go ahead and paint it up.
Oh, I'm sure we could find a very talented artist in the city to help us out with that.
I'm sure we could.
I know some people.
I can guarantee I wouldn't. I was being serious. I was like, I think.
I know. I don't mean to.
I think people probably wear helmets.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they
just
would.
saying.
You just don't see it every day, right? Like you don't see broom snapping every day.
Because most people that are on the ice are athletes, unlike I would be, right?
Yeah, balance is hard, though. Balance is hard.
True.
Okay, I think we should probably keep on moving here because we're getting close to our next guest that's going to be joining us in just a bit. But I did also want to mention really fast here, TeleMiracle 50 raised over $10.5 million. We saw George Strombo. Mm-hmm. We saw Kate Burness in attendance. All the celebrities, all the country music performers, but we did not see Dave Thomas there. I know Barney was really upset about that last week.
Well,
and I don't blame him.
Because in confidence, I mentioned that's one of the things that I thought would be really cool in my career at some point was to be on TeleMiracle. Now, I did get to be on the Weyburn Communathon for the United Way, so that was good.
Well, you've already made it then. Don't be greedy.
But you know what? Kidding aside, right? And not campaigning to be on the program. Number one, the job that the people that were hosting the show do is fantastic. Brad Johnner has been doing it for year after year after year. JoJo Mason was fantastic. But
Jeffrey Straker.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we're going to forget someone if we start listing. But
we would not have time to list everyone.
The amount of work that they do, not just during the actual telethon itself, but they actually go to communities around the province. And I think that's really cool because they see some of the benefactors of the money that they have raised, which I think even intensifies the importance. So end of the day, I really think that it was a job well done, and congratulations, because I think there was about 600 Kinsmen and Kinnett volunteers that came into Saskatoon to get the show on the road.
And of course, it's not just the hosts, it's not just, the volunteers, it's also the people like you who made donations. So pat yourselves on the back there too. That's pretty awesome. Speaking of TeleMiracle though, 1977. The inaugural TeleMiracle took place. And don't say the answer because I feel like you're going to know it and I don't want you to give it away. But one of the hosts in the very first TeleMiracle in 1977 was this Rider alumni. Who do you think it was? Now, don't say it, Dave. Don't say it either, Colson. I want people to text in who they think it was. Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Who do you think that was? Which Rider alumni was one of the hosts in the inaugural TeleMiracle in 1977. Again, that Prairie Land Rentals text line, whatever you need to get the job done, Prairie Land Rentals probably has it. Also, an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. As I mentioned, it might feel nice this week, but guaranteed we will have more snow. So make sure that you go see the team at Prairie Land Rentals. And you can also text that same number if you want to get in on the Pats draw. Just send the word Pats and your name, and you have a chance to go watch them live against the Tigers at the Brandt Center tomorrow. Potential first-round playoff preview. Now, all of our guests are going to be joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, except for our next guest, Ry Pothakos. Now, he's the director of scouting baseball operations, head coach of the Regina Red Sox. He's going to be joining us here shortly. This is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage for Smoke 'em Diesel. If you are a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smoke 'em Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, and all diesel hard parts. They got the hookup. European diesels, pickups, tractors, semis. They have everything you need for those hard parts. Make sure that you go see them. Genuine OEM replacement diesel parts. They don't sell the junk, okay? Go see them. Smoke 'em Diesel. Direct shipping diesel parts to you. This is the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Yes, welcome back to the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. I'm your host, Teagan Witko, joined by voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. Colson Schultz keeping us on the air and on the stream at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well. And the daily show, of course, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. Make sure that you check them out, okay? Smoke'em Diesel, direct shipped diesel parts to you. Okay. Our next guest joining us right now. I am so excited that we're getting back into baseball. Spring training is underway in the majors. And, of course, we have the Regina Red Sox head coach, director of scouting and baseball operations, Rye Pothakos, with us, fresh off your trip to Greece.
Yes, nice to be back.
Yeah, it was a nice little visit.
Baseball going, yes.
I guess you got to be strategic in when you plan your getaways, hey?
Yes, yeah. So the recruiting went well over there. With technology now, it doesn't matter where you are, you can still do your recruiting. So things are going good.
So that was a working vacation as well.
Yeah, with the time change, it worked out a little bit. It's tough, but yeah, it all came together nicely, yeah.
So, Rye, since the last time we spoke, it was announced that you're going to be returning to the Regina Red Sox for your 11th season. So what were some of the contributing factors in that decision-making process of knowing I want to be here next season?
Yeah, I love the community of Regina. I've been here with the Cyclones. I've been in Saskatchewan since '95, so I like Regina. I like our organization. I like what we do for the fans, and I enjoy every minute in the dugout. So no other place I'd rather be.
Easier call to prospective athletes this year saying, hey, we're the defending league champions?
Yeah, it helps. Obviously it helps, but we've always had a good network, and we've always tried to put a real good competitive team. Like in 2024, where we went wire to wire as a winner, and lost first round of the playoffs, but on a couple of bad calls, and it still bothers me. But I think if we got by that first round, we probably would have won the championship in 24, and we did it last year. So,
as the way the roster stands right now, what excites you about your team?
We got a lot of good defense, guys that don't strike out at the plate, put the ball in play, and we have guys that throw strikes. So you always have a chance to win when that happens.
Now, you're already hard at work locking in those players for the 2026 campaign. Decent number of returnees, I understand. Yeah,
we'll have about 8 to 10. We're just waiting on a couple of guys to commit. They like to be back in Regina, just taking their time a little bit. And with, they're veteran guys for us, so with respect, we'll give them the time to make that decision. So, yeah, we're going to have a good bunch of returners. We have some great athletes coming in from a bunch of different schools, so very excited about our roster.
You've coached a lot of athletes over the year. What excites you about bringing these athletes in so that you can help in their development?
I just, the energy these young guys bring, that's why I like to be around them. I'm 67 years old. I feel like I'm 27. So, I feed off of those guys, and with my experience, hopefully we can teach them something. And, it turned out it's a great relationship with the young guys. I really enjoy it.
I would suggest the caliber of the league hasn't been better. There's some great baseball played night in and night out, whichever diamond in the league you go to. In saying that, when you look at the athletes you're able to recruit right now, do they see that caliber of play starting to increase as well? Yeah,
I think, there's a lot of collegiate leagues in North America, but I think we're top 5. I mean, Cape Cod League in Massachusetts is number 1, but, we rival any league. We had guys that played in other leagues, in Texas Collegiate, West Coast League, Northwoods League, and then, our league is very, very good.
When the athletes are coming, what do they hope to get out of their season? Obviously, they want to play some competitive ball. They want to continue what they started in the collegiate level predominantly. What else do they get out of the opportunity to come up and play? Well,
it's a life experience to come to Canada. A lot of guys enjoy that part of it. It's not a whole lot of difference to the U.S. There's our nuances, and especially in Saskatchewan, we have some things going on here differently, So the guys like it. They enjoy it. Like our returners always love to come back, and, they love Regina.
I once was told that one of the draws is that this is a wood bat league. What does that mean? Why is it something that the players enjoy doing?
Well, at the pro level, all your stats are measured on a wood bat. So all your summer collegiate leagues are wood bat. So, we went to that a number of years back, and, it's something that the guys like to do.
As a coach, how fine is the line that you have to walk? Because you've got, for example, pitchers that are coming in from collegiate ball, and I know that their colleges are keeping an eye on their pitch count, so on and so forth. Obviously, with the experience you have, there's things that you see that, hey, you know what, if you set up this way or if you do this another way, that might, I don't want to say contradict the coaching that they have, but obviously you want to make sure that it's a fair balance. How fine is that line?
Yeah, we do some coaching if the player approaches us. I mean, they have expectations from their coach from their school, so we respect that. We also have dialogue on the phone with the coaches, and so the relationships there, help us get players here, and we respect what the coaches want to do. So.
Now, when it comes to scouting, if you could just give us a tiny little peek behind the curtain here. I imagine you're doing it all the time, all off season. It's a short season. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of games in a short period of time, and there are these players who have other commitments, right? So sometimes guys will show up a little bit late if they're coming from the Shreveport Pirates as a prime example, where they won the league, an undefeated season, incredible, or they have to leave early. So how important is depth when you're starting to construct that roster?
Yeah, depth is very... Yeah, you have to kind of look at when guys are coming in and what schools they're coming from. Your Division I schools generally show up later. So you have a good mix of NEI schools and junior college schools, Division II. So this balance helps you get started early and then add your players, a little later on with the success they're having at the regionals and their playoffs as well. So like you mentioned, Shreveport last year went all the way, so.
Well, there's a lot of excitement in Dunedin, Florida today as the Canadian team met for the first time, held their first workouts in advance of the World Baseball Classic. You're no stranger to international competition, of course, having worked with the Greek program for a number of years. What is international baseball like, and what do you think that this event is going to do for baseball moving forward?
Well, the WBC has, put baseball on the map across the globe. Europe, the baseball is very, very good. So, yeah, it's really making like a World Cup of soccer.
Okay.
A lot of countries in Europe are really taking good hold of baseball. And, they have good facilities and baseball fields and indoor facilities. So baseball is growing around the globe.
We know it very well in North America, South America as well. You mentioned Europe is starting to grow. Where is the competition going to come from in this World Baseball Classic? Who should we be watching for?
Japan, obviously. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's going to have a good team. I think they're picking Japan to win it. I mean, pre-event. And Puerto Rico, I think, is going to, they have them in the championship game. So the U.S. is, obviously dominant, but you got to play the games. And these two countries, Japan and Puerto Rico, have good teams.
Where does Canadian baseball factor into that?
It's kind of, if you look at the world rankings, we used to be in top 10. We kind of slipped down a little bit to 15 or something like this. Kind of surprises me, but it's take your hat off to the other countries that have jumped up in the standings because they put some good work in and developed some good baseball players in these countries. Yeah,
maybe that's the word, development, because I look at the opportunities for young people. They didn't exist when I was, again, we rode dinosaurs to school back then, but they didn't exist the opportunities for the indoor training facilities that there are now. How far have we come?
We've come a long way in Canada, especially in our province as well, right? Like. A lot of indoor facilities now. So you've seen Saskatchewan baseball really jump on the map too. Been Organization of the Year, Province of the Year a number of times. So, Sask baseball is doing a great job, and there's a lot of good athletes in this province playing baseball.
So with the World Baseball Classic, specifically focusing on Canada's pool, they're in Pool A. And a lot of people are saying, I'm no expert, I'm just saying a lot of people are talking about the fact that this could be the first time that Canada finally advances out of the group stage. Would you tend to agree?
Yeah, they have a good team. You got to play the games and anything. Yeah, their pitching is good this year. So, they have a chance to jump out of that pool for sure.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, look forward to that. Be nice.
Now, I want to get your take on something that you brought up already. You go back to the 2024 season. There were a couple of calls, right? We know that.
Were you at the game?
I'm just leaving that there. I'm leaving that there. But baseball in spring training is introducing the automated strike and ball counter. So you can go ahead, you can challenge. What do you think of this innovation in the game?
I don't know. I kind of have to wait and see how it plays out. But, I'm an old school guy and a purist. I think you take the human factor out of a lot of things and it changes it. So we'll just wait and see how it goes. And, we're all used to the old school way.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to judgment, but we'll just wait and see how it works out,
I don't want you to name names, but the Toronto Blue Jays have already said there's 3 guys that have got the green light to challenge a ball or strike call, and that's it on the roster. 3 guys. In your coaching right now with the Regina Red Sox, how many guys' eyes would you trust to give them that opportunity and that green light? Again, you don't have to name names.
Yeah, we got a couple, 3 guys. There's a few guys that really give us quality at bats and know the strike zone. So, yeah, I can. I have 2 or 3 guys in mind that we give them an opportunity. Yeah.
And is that something you can coach, the knowledge of the strike zone, or is that something that's just a talent that develops on its own?
Yeah, I think, as a player gets older, patience, more at bats, they develop this. Younger guys have a tendency to be a little more jumpy and maybe don't have a command of the strike zone that they should have, but you gain that with experience. So a junior, senior guy, this is where you develop a good eye. Yeah.
How much help is video work then? Does that help develop an eye for a batter?
I think you have to have a little bit in you to, this way you have a 250 hitter and a 320 hitter. I mean, a lot of guys could work hard and they can't get there.
Yeah.
Where other guys have it a little bit naturally. Hand-eye coordination and all these things everybody's a little bit different. But you put the work in and it could come. But there's a lot of bit of natural ability there.
I love talking with coaches because you have such a different lens and perspective of the game. So when I'm watching, right, I can see if a guy hits a dinger 400 and some feet, right? And I'm thrilled by that. A guy throws 100 mile an hour coming out of the bullpen. That's pretty cool. What are you watching when you watch a baseball game?
For a batter, I like a guy that doesn't strike out, puts the ball in play, puts pressure on the defense. I like a pitcher that throws strikes, doesn't necessarily have to throw 95 miles an hour. A guy that can pitch, like a kid that played for me in Saskatoon, Marco Gonzalez. He had a 10-year big league career. He's 89, 91, 88, 91. I mean,
wow.
He's a craftsman, right? Like, he knows how to pitch. And matter of fact, he's back in the big leagues now with San Diego signed him. So I like guys that throw strikes. You don't necessarily have to throw real hard, pitch to contact. I like good defense, guys that run the bases smart. These things win you ball games.
Running the bases smart. I wish the Blue Jays would do that. Sorry. They do they not run into outs occasionally, right? When they were struggling, I would say that was probably their downside.
And it kind of bit them in the end too, right?
Yeah, it did too, right?
So I mean, base running is very important. Yeah, and baseball IQ in a player is really important.
So there seems to be so many player transactions in baseball, and you're right here on top of your head. Okay, well, I saw this guy signed in San Diego. Like, how overwhelming is it, again, when you have to scout the field that's out there, right? So college guys are going to want to take their shot, so on and so forth. How do you keep a handle on all this?
Well, you have to love it, for one thing.
True.
You have to love it. And, I'm a baseball purist. I like the stats, but a lot of it comes down to gut feel in the dugout, what the guy has done in his last 7 games, how he's feeling today. You see him in BP before the game. So you kind of make your decisions on that during the game. But, it's a lot of fun. I just enjoy the whole aspect of baseball. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of stuff going on.
So with the new ownership coming in next season, I mean, you've spent a decade with this organization in the Regina Red Sox, and I'm sure your role has evolved. Do you know if it's going to look any different for the upcoming season?
I think right now I'm staying in my lane, and
you worry about the dugout.
I'm worrying about the dugout and the recruiting, and I'm having fun with it. We did the event the other night at the Pats game. I had a chance to talk with Gord. Things are going well, so we're excited about our roster. Wednesday, we have local coaches here. Zane Poland, local guy from Wilcox, is coaching, and Braden Cobb and myself are going to have a meeting. We got the roster. I talked to our other coach, Jackson Alaniz. I talked to him yesterday. He has the roster, so we're going to, we're in good shape right now. We have 2 or 3 spots for pitching, which I always kind of leave late for, late additions, guys that thought they were going to throw a lot of innings. Maybe they're not going to get the innings, and they'll come. So things are good. We got a really good athletic team, but we're going to have a lot of fun.
If my math is right, please don't test me, about 12 weeks from the start of opening day in the season, you'll start out on the road before getting a chance to celebrate your championship banner at home. How do you get this group to come together and try to get that done as quick as you can? Because guys aren't going to be here very long before the first pitch of the season throws.
Yeah, it's nice to start on the road is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get in the hotel, they're on the bus together, and, you get a lot of gelling right away. So we're looking forward to that. The first few games are on the road, and then we're ready to get after it here at home and make the city proud. We got a good squad. The city's going to love our guys.
What was that atmosphere like in the dugout for you? Being in the stands and watching it during the championship run last year was just, I get goosebumps thinking about it. What was it like for you?
It was amazing, and to watch the guys, what they gave to us last year in the city and the community, and they love playing for our fans here. So, it was pretty nice watching them, especially at Sylvan Lake and 4,500 people quiet. They hear a pin drop. It was a lot of fun, In game 2, they were up, and I think it was the 8th inning. Yeah, they were shaking hands in the dugout.
Yes,
the two coaches were on the opposite side, were shaking hands, and they were celebrating, and our guys saw that, and we turned it around pretty good. Best comeback in WCBL history in the playoffs was what we did in game 2.
So did you point that out? Did the players point that? Who mentioned that or saw that first? Because obviously that's a huge rallying point, I would think.
Yeah, the players saw it. I didn't say anything. And, our leadership was great. We have a great culture in our dugout, and that's why the 8-10 guys coming back are going to transfer that to this team. We're excited about the guys we got coming in, and we got some good athletic players coming from some good schools, so we're excited. So we'll be announcing more here in the next 10 days, 12 days. We'll start rolling out our player signings. So
right now at major league camps, a lot of players are trying to get their timing back, is what they talk about. Is that something that is common in baseball, and does it happen in season as well, that players may get out of sync? And if so, how do they get back in sync?
Well, timing is everything, I guess. The guys that get a lot of reps in, just like golf, it's a repetitive game. When you see a golfer finish his 18 holes, where does he go? He goes on the putting green and help, work on his putting. And if his putting's doing all right, he'll go do some on the driving range. So it's a repetitive game, and the motions are repetitive. So you have to get this feeling down right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, championship team, that's got to feel pretty good. It's exciting to hear that we are that much closer to getting back to Regina Red Sox baseball. And who knows, maybe the Red Sox and the Riders can run it back. Yeah,
we're that's what we're shooting for. I mean, repeat is the word that we're gonna, really emphasize on early. And you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. We finished out a few games over 500, got in and went on a run. Didn't lose in the playoffs on the road. We got a good team coming in, so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to all the sunscreen and sunflower seeds and foul balls. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So they're going to do a few things at the ballpark. I think they're talking about a big video screen in right field, and so
cool.
Yeah, do some things.
Ooh.
It's going to be fun.
Look at that. We got a little tease here on the Sports Cage. I like that.
The scoop.
That was announced the other night at the Pats thing. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cat's out of the bag now. I'm running with it. I'm going to tweet it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Yeah. So.
Rye Pothakos, Regina Red Sox, of course, head coach and scouting director. Thank you so much for doing this, and welcome back from your trip.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back and looking forward to getting after it.
All right, we're looking forward to some ball over at Curry Field. It's going to be here before you know it. Of course, always enjoy having Rye join us here on the show, but we do need to take a break, getting the wrap-up sign from Colson. So coming up next, we'll dive into the sports ticker and let you know what you need to watch. This is the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com. All right, Montana's Briar in St. John, Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, represented by Mike McEwen's rink, and of course Kelly Knapp's rink as well. So the Knapp rink did fall to Quebec 8-7, so they are 6th in Pool A. The McEwen rink took on Northern Ontario. They won 5-1 to another 3rd in Pool B, and there is one more Saskatchewan team in action. Of course, the Knapp rink going to be back on the pebbled ice facing PEI 5 o'clock local time. In the NHL, trade deadline week is upon us. Let me see if there's been any updates here. Not to my knowledge. No, we're still good. Okay, NHL trade deadline week is upon us. Friday is the day. 6 games on the slate tonight. 2 Canadian teams in action. The Flyers travel to Toronto, take on the Leafs. Maybe Matthews will be booed again. And then the Dallas Stars take on the Vancouver Canucks. They'll be over it by now. Maybe. No. SportsCage.com poll. How do you feel about hockey, goalie fights in hockey? You can let us know at SportsCage.com. That is your sports ticker, brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies. Appreciate you making the time to hang out with us on this Monday edition of the Sports Cage, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. Direct shipped diesel parts to you. check them out. I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host. Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, joins me, and Colson Schultz, keeping us on the air and on the stream at SportsCage.com. Now, still to come, Darian Durant after 5 o'clock. We have Pat's Chat, and this will be with assistant head coach of the Regina Pats, Ken Schneider. So he's going to be stopping by. We also have Sprinkle of the Day. We have your Clutch Performer. We'll check in from Crofty, Dan Croft, Croft Electric. Right. You guys are still on last name basis only?
No, we're on the full-blown nickname. Nickname mode has been enabled.
Oh.
That's right.
I missed a lot last week. Okay.
You sure did.
Well, lots to get to still this afternoon. And as always, you can join in the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, whatever you need to get the job done. Prairie Land Rentals probably has it. Also an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. And we have been talking about everything from Shamrock Shakes and the return of those, and curling, and whether or not Dave should rock a helmet when he takes up this sport. You know, Roscoe, in your defense, did text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262, and said his son taught curling to young kids in Lethbridge, and they did have to wear helmets.
See, it's not a bad idea.
But you are also a full-grown man. These are children.
That means I've got a lot further to fall, just so you're aware.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Thank you.
You are not wrong. We do also have a bunch of people texting in to win some Pats tickets for tomorrow night's action at the Brandt Center. Of course, Medicine Hat Tigers in town. And if the standings remain as they are, that's a first-round playoff preview.
That is right.
For the Regina Pats. So make sure you text in the word Pats along with your name. Again, Prairie Land Rentals text line one more time, 306-936-6262. But I don't want to keep our guest waiting any longer. JD Haughton from the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. He is joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. JD, thank you for taking time.
How's it going?
Good. It's been a minute since we've had a chance to chat. It's exciting times in Moose Jaw right now.
Yes, obviously we just kicked off our playoff run last night with a 5-1 win over the Battleford Stars. So, no, it's good.
Yeah, Game 2 is going to be coming up tomorrow night against Battleford. So what's exciting you about this team? How would you describe this team to maybe a hockey fan who hasn't had a chance to watch the AAA Warriors play live yet?
I want to say I would describe it as a lot of depth. We have a lot of players returning that went through the playoffs last year. Obviously, we were swept by Regina in the final, but a lot of guys coming back with playoff experience. And I think that's going to help lead our team, especially the young guys, the guys that this is their, if they're a 15-year-old coming in or a 17-year-old that it's first year on the team, those guys are going to be able to help them kind of, help them or help guide them through the playoffs and know what it takes to win. And I think that's a big thing that our team does know is what it takes to win in the playoffs. We had some, it was very dramatic last year. We came back in our second round series down 2-0, did a reverse sweep on Swift Current, and then came back also in our round 1 series against Estevan. And we're able to win both of those games in game 5s. So I would say probably depth, resiliency, things like that. Even last night, our guys were able to, it was a 1-0 game for Battleford for about half of that game, and then they were able to come alive in that second period halfway through. So, I want to say resiliency and playoff experience and depth. We can score from our first down to our fourth line, and then obviously our defensemen can get in on the scoring as well.
You talked about some of those players who can set the tone coming off of last year. Who are some of those players that are stepping up and leading the charge? Single out a couple of them for us.
Obviously, our captain, Ryan Gibbs, he was a second-year player last year. He led our team in goals and points this year. He had 41 goals in the regular season. And then some of the guys that were first years last year, like a guy like Maxim Johnston, he's 6'2". He's a big guy, and he can really set the tone as well. And then we have some guys that can score: Max Fiesel, Carson Park, and then our goalie, Caleb Page. He had a little bit of playoff experience last year. But on defense, Tyler Hudek, Wade Franks, Hudson Sayers, we have a lot of guys that were on that team last year, went through the heartbreak and are looking for redemption this year.
The under-18 AAA League, JD, is all about player development and growth. What development and growth have you seen from your team this season?
I want to say we've had a season full of injuries. Back half of following Christmas, we were without two of our defensemen. We had some of our key forwards out. So I want to say the development, especially getting some of these other guys into roles where maybe they weren't expecting to be in, and making them and challenging themselves to get better. I want to say that's probably the biggest development I've seen from our team. And you even look at guys that have been with us for 3 years, like Ryan Gibbs or a Carson Dykart, Moose Jaw kids that have been with us for 3 years, or a Wade Franks as well on the back end. You see where they started at 15 and see where they are now. They've taken leaps and bounds on where they started. So, obviously our goal, our head coach's goal, his staff's goal, is to get these kids to the next level, and I think he's doing that right now.
Rivalries in hockey are fun. How sick and tired of the Moose are the Moose Jaw Winmar Warriors of hearing the names Liam Pugh and Maddox Schultz over and over again?
I'll be the first one to say that those are, they're two really special players, especially, a guy like Maddox Schultz. Like he came in, not many guys can come in to play U18 AAA hockey at 14 and then lead the league. So, they're great players. I think for our team, we want to take care of business on our own end, and then see what Regina does, and maybe we can get a little bit of redemption from last year.
Is that hard? Keeping that focus on the task at hand as opposed to not watching the score sheet to see what's happening between Regina and the Saskatoon Contacts, for example? Yeah,
and people our players are gonna scoreboard watch as much as anybody else. Seeing kind of what they're doing, how with the success that they're having. They had a great season. They finished first. 3 points above us, and we were going neck and neck all season. And our season series, I think that they won it by a singular point. But it's always a great rivalry, and we're excited.
The Western Regionals are going to be held in Regina at the end of March. What does that mean for your team?
The goal for our team, we're gonna, we obviously we want to be there, and then that's a goal of our team, especially being so close to Moose Jaw. But I think right now the guys are focused on Battleford and just trying to on each game, and then trying to make it to the next round, and then to the league finals for the second year in a row. But I think it would be huge for our team, especially with the success that we've had not only this year but last year, growing this program and having the success that we've had. I think that would be real big for a lot of these kids, and it's a great experience.
It's kind of a hidden gem, and again, please don't reach out and grab your monitor in front of you right now. And the fact that under 18 AAA in Saskatchewan is special, and the fact that you may grow up in Saskatoon, but you've got an opportunity to go play in Moose Jaw, right? It's an opportunity to recruit and grow programs that way, and I find that uniqueness something truly captivating to follow. When you're assembling a team, how do you do it in Saskatchewan?
For our head coach and his scouting staff and his staff, they kind of. Our spring camp is a big recruiting aspect for our team. Like every other team, they have spring camps. They bring players in from all across the province, and some of them make our teams, and some of them don't. And you just have to try to get to find those kids that aren't going to those major centers as well. That you see something, and you take a guy for like Hudson Sayers, for example. He's kind of like a little bit of a diamond in a rough. Found him, he was playing varsity at NAX, and then his parents agreed to come to Moose Jaw, and he had 51 assists this year, and he was fourth on our team in scoring as a defenseman, and second in defensive scoring in our league this year, I believe, or it might have been third, I can't remember. But it just kind of our staff. Our head coach and his scouting staff, they just try to do the best they can. I know Sask First is a big hot spot for a lot of scouts in our league, try to find those younger guys to try to develop over, 1, 2, 3 years, trying to bring them in. But it's a collective effort between, our head coach and his staff trying to find players and selling them on our program and the community of Moose Jaw.
JD Haughton is our guest, of course, Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. And I'll be the first to admit it, JD, I walk a very fine line when it comes to being a fan from Moose Jaw of hockey. And of course, I do in-stand stuff for the Regina Pats. We carry the broadcast for the Regina Pats. But there is still a very noticeable rivalry. And I want to just go back to that really quickly here because I want your personal opinion. What do you think would give Moose Jaw a competitive edge over this current Pat C's roster?
Well, that's a loaded question.
I know. And that's why I prefaced it with the fact that I know this is a dangerous road that we're walking down, but I feel like I have the stripes to ask the question.
No, Teagan, I appreciate the question. Obviously, yes, we have a huge rivalry with Regina. This season, we 3 of the 4 games went to overtime. We won 2, they won 1, and then they beat us in regulation. I think for us, just for the team that our head coach Trevor Weisgerber's put together, if we can play a defensive game and shut down the stars of Regina, Nathan Gardner or Malachi Martin or Maddox Schultz or Liam Pugh, and kind of take away those, their shooting lanes and getting in front, blocking shots, and obviously a great goaltending as well has to be a big focus. But if we play as a team and defend well, I think we have a really good chance, especially 5-on-5. We're really good 5-on-5, especially with our speed and our depth. I guess that is my take on if the edge that we may have over Regina. But again, loaded question.
I know.
And that would be why JD will never come on the program again.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah. How have you balanced expectation with achievement in Moose Jaw? Because you talk to a lot of the people that observe and follow the league, and they said going in that Regina and Moose Jaw are so close in talent level that, again, they're going to have a big opportunity to go ahead and do special teams this year. And again, when you're in the midst of that conversation, sometimes you can get caught up in that conversation. How has Moose Jaw found that balance?
I think that for the group, I think hockey is supposed to be fun. And I know that is so cliche to say, especially at this high a level, but I think for these kids just to enjoy the moment and enjoy every single second of this season, I think is a big part of it. And then just making sure that they're focused. And a lot of these guys on the team are very focused. They're very goal orientated. They know what they wanted to do before coming into this season. Making the Circle K Classic was one of those goals. They achieved that. Obviously finishing first or second in the regular season, they achieved that. And then going into playoffs, I think just being as successful as they can. I think, these are student athletes. They have to balance school and travel, midweek games. And then the grind that it comes in playoffs, it doesn't get any easier either. So, the guys that Trevor has put together are very focused, and that's something that he really tries to teach these kids, to come into each game to be mentally focused and prepared and ready to do your job, but also enjoy it and have fun, because the memories that these kids have made over this regular season or last season as well for those returning guys, those are moments that you're never going to forget. And I think just to take it one game at a time, one shift at a time, one period at a time, I think is kind of especially in the playoffs is the only way moving forward.
Your roster is built with grade 10, 11, and 12s. How do you balance that schooling aspect? Because obviously that's a key component in your high school years.
I can't say enough for our 2 schools that we deal with, Peacock Collegiate and Vanier Collegiate. They really set these guys up for success and understand the schedule, especially in the playoffs and the grind that these kids go through. But lot of these kids are very focused on school as well, so they take it very seriously. So, when they have time, maybe on an off day or whatever, they'll try to push ahead, knowing that they have a busy schedule, coming up the next week. So a lot of these kids are very academically, obviously smart, but motivated as well. We have a lot of our players are in the 90 and up percent averages, and it is a grind, especially for these first year guys, these grade 10s that come in that don't know that we play a 44 game schedule, practice almost every day, and then we play on weekends and weeknights. So it's a tough schedule, but with our school partners, and obviously with a lot of these kids being education motivated, it makes it very easy.
There's another education component that a lot in the hockey world are talking about right now, which is NCAA. And of course, you got to start writing your SATs and all that fun stuff. Has that changed? Have you seen that change in the last couple of years since junior players were able to be admitted into the NCAA programs?
I'm just going from my own kind of observation of our league, and I think it's a little early to tell in our league, but you are seeing a lot of kids coming back for their last year of minor hockey, just because that NCAA rule change is allowing WHL teams to take those players. So they're taking some 18-year-olds, some 19-year-olds, which before the rules would have changed, before the rules were changed, you would have taken a 17-year-old kid from that wouldn't come back and play AAA for his last year. So I want to say that a lot of teams are getting their 17-year-olds back in our league, but I think right now it's too early to tell the full breakdown of that rule change in our league. But I know since it happened, definitely a lot more older guys are coming back.
Now, Moose Jaw is certainly a hockey town, and I imagine that there's still some type of relationship with the WHL Warriors. So are you and the rest of the crew down there communicating with them at all? You guys taking in some games, scoreboard watching?
Oh, 100%. Our players love going to the Warrior games. It's, for them, it's an added benefit of playing here in Moose Jaw, getting to play in a WHL rink, but also cheer on a Western Hockey League team. And, we have 4 Moose Jaw Warriors prospects on our team: Tobin Schaefer, Chase Peterson, Maxon Johnston, and Carson Dykart. So obviously there's a lot of communication between head coach Trevor Weisgerber and general manager Jason Ripplinger and head coach Mark O'Leary with the Warriors. Actually, a lot of our Warriors prospects do go out and practice on a weekly basis with the big club, but there's a lot of communication. We're very close, and I do the play-by-play for our team. So me and James Gallo are very we're in constant communication. So he helps me hone my skills as well. So it's a great relationship that we have. Our dressing room's 10 feet from theirs, so definitely a very good relationship.
What's the benefits of that relationship?
Some hand-me-down practice jerseys.
Yard sale.
No, there's obviously a player's aspect too. When because we commit to our players before they're drafted, so that might help. I'm not always in those conversations. That's more of a head coach and Jason Ripplinger type of conversation. But obviously having 4 Warriors draft picks, prospects on our team, and that does help, especially with growing that relationship. And any Saskatchewan kids that they're looking at maybe possibly drafting, they give us a heads up. It's just I can't say enough good things about the organization. They're community owned, they're community focused. They support our team as well. With playing some interviews that I do for them of our guys on the radio, kind of really showcasing our guys as well, outside of their prospects and draft picks. So that's really good.
What do you need to do to be successful against Battlefords? You've got game 1 in hand, but it's always a long series and you never know what's going to happen.
in Battleford, they're a tough team. They play physical. They got speed, and they take advantage of the opportunities that they do get. I think us for we travel up to Battleford. It's a obviously a long drive for us and a tough place, a smaller rink. I think for us, just our guys just keeping their composure, because that first 10 minutes of that first period is going to be pretty loud. They're going to have their home fans with noisemakers, all that stuff, screaming and shouting for their team. So I think for our guys are just to keep their composure, stay focused, and just kind of stick to the game plan. And I think we got great goaltending in game one. I don't see that not being the thing in game two, but I think we have a lot of depth. So if we can, if our guys can capitalize on the power play and capitalize on the chances that they're given, we should be fine. But Battleford is, they're a tough team, and I give them a lot of credit.
I'm going to ask you probably the toughest question now, JD, and now he's definitely not going to come back on the show.
Yeah, I can see this.
Shamrock Shakes, yes or no?
Oh, that's a hard yes for me. I love those Shamrock Shakes.
Dave's not into it, but I feel like he's being outnumbered here. We're keeping a tally.
I think I have to go to the doctor after for high blood pressure. But they're worth they're worth the wait for sure.
There's a reason they're only around seasonally, JD.
Yes, 100%, 100%.
Of course, JD Haughton from the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Really appreciate the time here today. This was fun, JD.
Yeah, thank you again, Teagan. Yeah, I know it's been a slice.
Well, we'll have to do it again, maybe when the Pats and Warriors see each other down the road.
We'll see. If that's
he's not
that's
jinxing
the case,
anything.
I would gladly come back on the show if that's the case.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan, JD. Thanks so much again.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, JD Haughton on the Western Pizza guest hotline, the Greek-style pizza that has become famous around the world, plus all the Greek and Canadian favorites you cannot get enough of. Western Pizza, the local legend. So I'm just continuing to be proven right. I'm just throwing that out there, Dave.
I did not say you were wrong. I just said that I was the only person on the planet that didn't like them.
You're mincing words a little bit.
Yeah.
Mincing words a little bit. But yes, the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors are getting back on the ice tomorrow night. Same with the Regina Pat Canadians, who took their first game against the Saskatoon Contacts. So both of those teams back in action tomorrow. It's some good hockey. It's fun to watch. And when it comes to the WHL Pats, if you want to go to that game tomorrow, just a reminder that we have tickets to give away. Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. Simply send us the word Pats and your name for a chance to win some tickets. Tigers in town, potential first-round playoff preview. Doesn't get much better than that.
I know it's going to be a great game.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Tuesday games, I really like Tuesday games, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm always at the weeknight games, but I kind of like that I just get to coast throughout the evenings for the rest of the week, and I can just go home and relax.
Really?
I like Tuesday night games. Wednesday nights are great, too, because of the Wiener Wednesday thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Tuesday nights, that's a solid night to go watch some hockey.
See, I think I have a problem at Pat's games because I've got a popcorn lady.
You have a popcorn lady?
Yes. So when I go to the
specific lady?
Yes.
Oh.
Because when I go to the concession with my children, we get the extra topping. We pay for it. Mm-hmm. But boy, does she do a terrific job. And so whenever we see where she's working, that's where we go. And we will wait in line extra time just to go to the popcorn lady.
Does your wife know you have a popcorn lady?
I think she wouldn't be surprised. Let me tell you that.
Fair point.
Thank you.
She knows him well enough, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably fine.
Fair enough.
Okay,
yeah.
A popcorn lady.
Popcorn lady.
I wonder if people who go to Pat's games also have a beer guy.
Probably.
Where there's a specific concession where they feel like the lines are cleaner in the draft or something.
True.
Is that a thing?
Probably.
I don't know. Let us know. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. We might be hooking you up with a pair of tickets to go check out that Pats and Tigers game at the Brandt Center tomorrow. Now, the Monday edition of the Sports Cage is brought to you by Smokem Diesel. If you're a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smokem Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, and all the diesel hard parts. So if that's up your alley, you might want to check out Smokem Diesel. All right, we still have plenty to come, including your clutch performer for Council. That's going to be coming up here on the other side of the break, so hang tight. It's the Sports Cage, and it's on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. I'm going to mention this one more time because we are going to talk about TeleMiracle 50 here in just a second, but we did toss out a question to you earlier and wanted to see if you could get it right. In one of the very first the first TeleMiracle, 1977. One of the hosts was this Rider alumni. Who do you think it is? Send us your guess, 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. But I do want to talk about the Saskatchewan Huskies men's hockey team this weekend. Swept the UBC Thunderbirds in the Canada West semifinals, winning the series and another shot at the conference championship. But I want to single out one specific player. Friday night, Huskies netminder Nolan Meyer. He made an absolutely filthy save for the UFS Huskies.
To the point, Williams. Over to Mutala, cross seam. There's the shot. Thorpe. Oh, what a save! Oh my goodness, absolute robbery from Meyer. As Saraglio steps down.
Yeah, so Meyer just makes that save, reaches out his glove. There's no way that he should have been able to grab that puck. I don't know how he did it. Just stretches the entire length of the net.
Yeah, good Yorkton boy there. Mm-hmm. Set the all-time franchise record with the Saskatoon Blades for wins.
Oh.
But yeah, that was...
stellar performance.
That was good.
Okay, so that's my one. I'm going to go to you. I'm going to defer to the two of you before I do my TeleMiracle shout out here because we have an answer to a trivia question. So, Colson, Dave, who's up?
I'm waiting to see. Want to go, Colson?
Sure.
Okay, doesn't matter to me, okay?
Sandy McEwen at the Briar. Did you guys see this shot?
Oh, the quadruple.
Yes.
Oh,
This is amazing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch it.
You're better at play-by-play. You want to...
Okay, so McEwen's in the hack. He's facing a couple, and it's the 10th end, so he needs to score 2 in order to get the win. It looks like he has no shot, so he's trying a raised triple. So Rock comes down the ice.
Boom, boom, boom.
Not only does he get the triple, he gets the quad. So he had enough speed to throw out 3 rocks and score a deuce to go to the extra end, which was fantastic. Unfortunately for him, he'd go on to lose in the extra end, which was
still, though,
unfortunate. But yeah, still the shot of the game.
That is an incredible throw.
Yeah.
Anytime you can successfully hit 4 rocks in the way you want,
yeah,
come on.
That's pretty clutch.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty clutch. Okay, solid pick, Colson. Dave? Thanks.
So I'm kind of staying with curling a little bit, but my clutch performers are the City Council of St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, because they struck a deal with Mary Brown's Chicken to name the center, the arena that they're playing in. It's Mary Brown's Center. And I thought, that is amazing, right? You can go to a game, you can get some Mary Brown's chicken, everything is happy. Mm-hmm. But did you know that Mary Brown's actually originated in Newfoundland? I had no idea. So the clutch performer is the city of St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, because not only did they come up with a great corporate sponsor for chicken, but they also got the local connection right with St. Mary Brown's, and I would never have known unless I Googled Mary Brown's to understand why they would do that.
Also pretty clutch.
Isn't not, it covers every component of clutch, I would suggest.
When you, a peek behind the curtain here. When you said to me off air before we cracked the mics here this afternoon, you said, Teagan, I'm going to get political.
Yes.
And I'm going to get political on the clutch performer. And I thought, oh God, the way that things have been lately, please don't. I'm glad that you went ahead with it.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
thought that was. So again, the City Council of St. John's, and I have no idea who's up for re-election or not, but they all should get in after that.
Because I thought for sure Dave was going to bring up the fact that they have the slips on the parking meters in downtown Regina already.
No.
They invested so much money in those bad boys. And never mind. I said I wasn't getting political.
I stayed positive political.
So TeleMiracle 50.
I thought you were going to talk about religion next.
You want to talk about wages too?
No. Carry on.
TeleMiracle 50 raised $10.5 million this weekend because of the generosity of the people of Saskatchewan, the incredible amount of volunteers and people who made this thing happen. You had Kate Burness there. You had George Strombolopoulos.
You got it.
Am I saying that right? Why did that sound weird coming out of my mouth? Anyway, there was a bunch of celebrities, country performers, and it was just an unbelievable success. It's so cool that they do this every single year. It's such a tradition. In fact, we threw out a question to you earlier. I mentioned one of the hosts in the very first TeleMiracle in 1977 was this Rider alumni, and who was it?
Am I supposed to answer yet? I had two in my mind. I narrowed it down to two.
Okay. What do you think?
I was going Ron Lancaster to George Reed, one of the two.
Yeah, so you were right with the second pick. We also did have someone get it right here on the text line. I'm just trying to find the person's name. But the Prairie Line Rentals text line.
Dean.
Dean
in Regina.
I wanted to make sure that Dean got a shout out where it was due. But yes, it was the legendary George Reed.
You know what I thought was cool? It was the 50th anniversary of TeleMiracle, and so they were bringing back footage from 50 years ago. So, like, again, you go back to, like, obviously McDonald's must have been a big sponsor back in the day. But, like, they had Ronald McDonald, Grimace on the stage. They had a whole bunch of employees that were wearing the old paper hats. Like, that was classic and vintage.
They really need to bring back those characters. Like, what happened to Grimace and the Hamburglar? And you don't see them around anymore.
True.
Again, I'm not hating on McDonald's. I love my Shamrock Shakes. But
yeah.
I just wonder why they don't bring them out anymore. It's unfortunate.
Rebranding.
Yeah.
No, I think it had maybe never. I was gonna say I think it had maybe something to do with marketing that targeted kids back in the day, but I could be completely wrong.
I don't know, or maybe
They
people
pivoted towards an adult-focused I'm Loving It around 2003.
Oh, well, people do have unnecessary fears to clowns, so I can see why Ronald McDonald.
He's the one who stuck around because he's still their mascot.
Really? When was the last time you saw a Ronald McDonald mascot walking around?
Specifically for charity, I should clarify, but still.
But and again, I hate to say that I have this knowledge. There are very stringent guidelines to being and or representing Ronald McDonald. If you understand what I mean? Like, you go to a school, you have to sign all kinds of different agreements and documents that if you're in public, you won't do this, or you could be losing your house. But like, it is pretty over the top spectacular, the legalese that is involved if you want to be Ronald McDonald.
But I'm loving it.
Oh.
Clutch performer.
That was pretty clutch, actually. I'll give you that. That might have been better than City Council of St. John's.
Yeah, well, debatable. Very debatable. That was your Clutch Performer, brought to you by Keln Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or a well without electricity. Visit kelnsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. And this is, of course, your Monday installment of the Sports Cage, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. Let's see. We still have lots on the go here this afternoon. We do have your sports ticker coming up. We'll take a look at your Sports Select Sprinkle of the Day. And we'll chat with Crofty. All that and more in just a bit. First, we'll take a short break. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Is in fact the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host, with Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Colson Schultz keeping us on the air and on the stream. SportsCage.com, YouTube, X. It's brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. So, you know what? I think we should just dive in right away here with our sprinkle of the day, because I'm kind of curious to see what these Canadian games look like tonight.
Oh, boy.
I think we already know.
Oh, boy.
Because there's two Canadian teams in action tonight, right? One of them, Dave's team, Vancouver Canucks.
Who haven't traded Elias Pettersson yet.
Well, yet. That could still be a thing.
Who's going to take, who is going to take that salary? Come on.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But let's see here. Okay, Colson has it up on the stream here. We're taking a look at it right now. So Canucks and Stars, we got, over under 5.5.
Yeah.
I might take over.
I'm with you.
I think I would take the over on that. Mm-hmm. And it's a slim margin, half-point favorite for Dallas.
Dallas is going to cover that so hard.
Yes, so quickly.
If the Canucks can keep it within 4, it's a win.
I'm
sorry to say. Again, don't take my word for it, because somehow they're going to get something miraculous happen. But again, Dallas has won 8 in a row here.
Yeah, Dallas is good. They have been on a roll. They're a physical team. They're a very, very talented team. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Although, if someone were to hypothetically sprinkle a couple of,
Shekels?
a little something on the Canucks and they happen to pull it off tonight, could be big.
Yeah, it could be big.
Could
for
be
sure.
big.
For sure.
As we look at the Philadelphia Flyers, Toronto Maple Leafs, I want to see prop bets on this. If Austin Matthews will, in fact, be booed for a second consecutive game in Toronto, that is not an option. But again, the over-under. Oh, is there one? I see prop. No, just Matthews
assists.
with an assist.
Couple of assists there.
Nylander.
Yeah, I'm
Not that exciting.
Not exciting.
And very similar to that other line that we were looking at, over under 5.5, and Toronto is a very slim favorite by 0.5 point.
Yes, and again, Toronto's hit and miss. Like I think that
Wildly inconsistent.
that's the word, right?
Yeah.
And would you agree that their backs are against the wall on this one? Like, again, the likelihood of them making the playoffs is very, very low, But
what do you do in Toronto at this point? I mean, Marner out. That clearly wasn't the problem.
Well, there's been talk about moving William Nylander, and the one thing that it was a few years ago, and it was, we can move this guy out, but we still need somebody like that guy in our lineup. So why would we move him out just for the sake of moving him out?
Maybe it's a locker room issue.
There's
Something's not gelling there, and I don't want to hear the stupid Toronto Maple Leafs are cursed. That's not what it is.
No, but Tanev has been out in the back end, and I think he's a difference maker on the blue line for them. But it just something isn't going. And I'm trying to remember which one of our insiders pointed out that the U.S. team was not going to win the gold medal because Austin Matthews was the captain. So did Austin Matthews prove those naysayers wrong with the field of work that he put down in Italy?
I would say so.
Yeah?
For the most part.
I didn't look at his final stat line.
Well, he looked better than he did in Toronto.
Well, yeah, but he's also surrounded with Olympic caliber athletes.
Yeah. I mean, what do I know? He still walked out of the airport with a gold medal around his neck.
Yes. But you should not do the but, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
true.
I don't think that Austin Matthews is going to be moved anytime soon.
I don't anticipate that they would do that either, but you never know in the NHL.
And the Leafs have absolutely zero draft capital to work with. So it's got to be a player for a player.
Yeah,
with what they're doing.
At this point.
And to me, again, the guy that they kind of let go is Fraser Minton. Boy, would he look good in their lineup right now. The former Saskatoon Blade, who's playing with Boston now in the deal that Toronto made, trying to load up. And I get it; they had to load up with where they were at that point. But I just don't see anything helping Toronto.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yep.
Matthews finished with 3 goals, 4 assists in the Olympics.
3 goals, 4 assists. How many of those were empty netters? Sorry, I had to ask.
Okay.
It's true.
That was your outside voice, Dave.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, internal thoughts.
And that's right.
Okay, Sprinkle of the Day brought to you by Sports Select. By the way, if you aren't sure how this whole thing works, you can get in on all of this sports action. It's as easy as going to the website. If you're watching the stream, you see it there. So if you go to sportselect.com, make your picks. It'll generate a QR code for you. So it's all clean and you don't need to worry about, your handwriting not being good. Generate that QR code. Bring it into your local lotto spot retailer. And yes, checking off a box can still be not legible.
It is tough to color inside the lines. I get that. I understand what you're saying.
So just generate it, or you can fill out the paper old school. 100% legal, every single bet. Chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus. Play responsibly. There is also the opportunity for futures. So if you wanted to look ahead a little bit here, maybe you want to place place some propositions, some predictions on the Stanley Cup as we get closer. I mean, you got NBA final, NCAA soccer, World Baseball Classic. That's also going to be coming up here in a bit too. So that is your sprinkle of the day, brought to you by Sports Select. So I do believe now we're going to be heading out on the Western Pizza guest hotline, and this is to chat with our guy, Dan Croft. Crofty from Croft Electric. How you doing?
I am wonderful on this sunny, beautiful spring day.
I love to hear that. So what do you think? Shamrock shakes, yes or no?
Oh, you know what? I used to like them, but I have a bad story. I dropped one in my truck, and it splattered like everywhere, and I swore off them after that. It literally made me so angry I almost threw it at the drive-through window. But they are tasty. So I haven't had one for a long time, put it that way, I guess. Short story long.
Oh, geez. Well, at least it wasn't in summer and it didn't get embedded in the interior of your vehicle or anything.
But it was green goo everywhere. It was, it dropped just as when you hold it from the lid and you kind of go to put it in your cup holder, and it kind of dropped just as I was about to drop it in the cup holder, and it just all over the dash and everywhere. Yeah.
So that's a soft spot. Maybe let's not talk about Shamrock shakes.
Yeah. they are tasty.
Totally fair. Okay, Crofty, let's dive in. What do you want to focus on today? Do you want to talk a little bit about your preferred customer program over at Croft Electric?
I do. I'm actually sitting out on a grid road just east of town right now, staring out at one of our ranch customers' properties. Just finished talking with him. Our preferred customer program is taken off. We're really proud of it. Basically, like I said, it's spring feeling. We got a little bit, not quite, but let's say it's called spring feeling. Everybody's starting to think about those summer projects, and we really want to get everybody ahead of the game. So let us come out. Do that 24-point inspection. Get to know your electrical system on your ranch, your farm, your house, your cabin, whatever it is. And then when we have that summer, spring project, we're ready. We can hit the ground running and be the most cost-effective that we can be for our customers.
Crofty, I know the pride that you take at Croft Electric in doing the job right the first time, and obviously there's a commitment to that which can give your customers a lot of assurance that the job is going to get done. What kind of things, though, do you hear from your customers? What types of projects are they inquiring about right now?
Well, we have had some cabin people start to reach out, as they start to go out to the cabin, start to kind of think about that. A lot of, redoing their services, their overhead, their electrical service coming into their house or cabin or ranch. But right now, houses and cabins are that's kind of the number one thing. They might have that overhead service where it comes in above ground, and they have comes to what we call a mast and then comes down into the house. And maybe they want to get rid of that because they're renovating their backyard, putting up a pergola or doing something. We've had a couple calls about stuff like that. So, that's great to get ahead of, especially when we have to deal with SAS Power. And not that they're not great to deal with, but it just takes a little bit more time. So we actually have a girl in our office, Roxanne. She's wonderful. She does a lot of work with SAS Power and lining up those cutovers and shutdowns and reconnects. So, the sooner we can get ahead of some of that stuff, the better.
Obviously, we're a little bit away from spring seeding season, but I remember growing up and the caution that needed to be taken in the yard when moving the auger around and stuff like that. Is there a solution? So you kind of talked about it. Can I make those overhead wires disappear with your help? And again, just be a little more safe in the yard when it comes to the loading and unloading of the spring and seeding season and harvest season?
Excellent question. That is actually one of the things I was just talking with this rancher. He's actually calving right now because he's also a mixed operation, so he has a lot of grain. And we're looking at putting in a new bigger service into his farm. And, the high voltage stuff is SAS Power. And if it does come into your yard, high voltage, we can work with SAS Power on ways to get that buried for you. As well as a lot of the old farm yards have, once the high voltage goes to the transformer, it goes to your meter socket, then distributes across the yard in overhead lines again. And that's where we can really help you. And, that line going on from your barn to your shop or from the pole where your meter socket is to your shop, we can help bury those as well. And then, like I said, we're happy to work with SAS Power and get it all buried and nice and safe and clean and tidy for everybody.
Well, you know what? You make a good point. Get it done now. Get that point inspection done now because spring is going to be here before we know it. So, Crofty, how do we get in touch with you?
Oh, the best way is give us a call, 306-586-1333. But we also want you to follow us on all our socials. We got some Friday funnies and some tips that come out on Tuesdays on there to keep up with stuff, as well as all our specials and whatever's going on. And then, if it's the evening and you start thinking of something, check out our website, www.croftelectric.com. We have a book a quote, book an appointment right on there. So there's lots of ways to get a hold of us, and we're happy to come out for a coffee and talk about your project.
Well, thank you so much, Crofty. I noticed that you and Dave are back on nickname basis, by the way.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about a good nickname for Dave too. I don't know why, but Baconator comes to mind. I don't know what the tie is there, but I think that might be it.
I do love bacon. I'll tell you that right now. And my picks for your NASCAR pool should be in the Garburator, so they both come together right away because I'll just leave that there.
Yeah, what happened last week?
Lane Riggs? Really? Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that was a mispick, I assume.
I'm embarrassing myself on a weekly basis, so I hope you're enjoying it, because I'd like to say it's for comedic relief, and it's not, because I'm trying.
Well, we might have to get together and watch a race and have a pint, and maybe we can talk through some of that.
I think that's a great idea. That's communication, right? That's the best part of a relationship.
Yeah.
It's budding communication.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad to see you boys put it behind you.
And we won't be having Shamrock Shakes, I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, so I'm clear. Dave doesn't like the Shamrock Shake. That's what I was hearing earlier.
He's not in. Doesn't like it. He's outnumbered, though. Because you admitted they're good. You just you got a vendetta against them.
No, he's smart.
No. That's not what it is. He is smart, but that's not, no. He's got a reason. Dan Croft Electric. Of course, you can always catch him with the NASCAR report. Senior hockey report Thursday. Yep. You can always catch Crofty on the program. He also chats with Barney on Wednesdays as well. But always appreciate the time there, Crofty, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, Monday installment of the Sports Cage, which is brought to you by Smokem Diesel. European diesels, pickup tractors, semis. They have your hard parts. Now, we still got to get to the sports ticker here before the news, so let's take a quick little break here, and we'll be right back on the other side. It's the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and 620 CKRM. And it is brought to you by Extreme Hockey. Whatever your sport is, Extreme Hockey has got you covered. And also, they do have a location open up in Moose Jaw now, which was very exciting when I learned that. We actually had a conversation with JD Haughton from the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors earlier in the show. You can always go back, listen to that in podcast form. But right now, let's talk about what you need to know. Montana's Briar in St. John's, Newfoundland. Saskatchewan represented by Team McEwen, who curl out of Saskatoon. You also have Regina's Kelly Knapp. So on their schedule today, 2 out of 3 already completed. Knapp fell to Quebec, or Team Knapp fell to Quebec, 8-7. So they are now sitting at 6th in Pool A. They're going to be looking for a comeback tonight as they get back onto the pebbled ice, taking on PEI pretty quickly here. About 5 minutes. That's going to be getting underway. Yeah. And then also when it comes to the McEwen rink out of Saskatchewan, to take on Northern Ontario earlier today. The result of that, a victory 5-1. So now the McEwen rink sits at 3rd in Pool B. NHL trade deadline week is upon us. Friday is the deadline day. 6 games in total tonight. 2 Canadian teams in action as the Flyers travel to Toronto, take on the Leafs at 6:30, and then the Stars are in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. Anything on Pettersson yet?
No, I keep refreshing and nothing.
Nothing? Oh,
nothing.
I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
Nothing.
Watch it not happen now because we got you all excited.
Yeah, again, you told me and I got real excited, and I kind of thought it was Christmas morning, and now it's not.
Unfortunately.
That's right.
I'm so sorry. Colson and I crushed your dreams today.
The lump of coal proverbially was delivered to me today.
I'm sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to do that, okay?
Hey, don't worry. We're going to be competitive in Vancouver by 2035. It'll be great.
That's being generous.
Yeah, true.
35?
Yeah, it's only 9 years. Only.
You've been through longer stretches. It's fine.
It could be Buffalo, but at least they've won a cup. Just saying.
Are you okay?
No. No, I'm not.
I don't think he's okay.
No.
So let's talk about the goalie fights real quick here. SportsCage.com poll. You can vote and let us know what you think. So how do you feel about goalie fights in hockey? That's the question that we threw out. There are 4 different options. They are great. I love them, and they're so entertaining. That's 1. Old school hockey. Option number 2. Now, option number 3, they are a waste of time. Why would a goaltender risk an injury to get involved? And then they are barbaric is the 4th option.
Can I read a text from Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevin says, I've never seen anybody leave during a goalie fight, so how can you not say they're entertaining?
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, there was also someone who was chatting with us about this, and they were basically saying, like, people love that type of entertainment.
See, and
I'm just trying to find it here
I know
so I
we're
don't
up
misquote.
against the clock, but to give you a Cole's Notes version, I interviewed the mother of an enforcer in the Western Hockey League, and that completely changed my perspective of fighting in junior hockey, because she talked about how fearful she was every time he went on the ice. Now, believe you me, the game has changed since the conversation that we had back in the day, but that was an eye-opener for sure, because that's always somebody's son or daughter that's out there on the ice.
Well, there's always 2 sides to every coin, right? Mm-hmm. Valid point. But yes, if you want your voice heard, you can text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line anytime, 306-936-6262, or just go to our website, sportscage.com. Go vote. Still to come. We're going to hit the news here, and then afterwards, Darian Durant is going to be joining us. It is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Appreciate you taking the time. It's the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. It's brought to you by Smokem Diesel. For all your diesel parts and repair needs, contact Smokem Diesel. Genuine OEM replacement diesel parts. They don't sell junk. Smokem Diesel, direct shipped diesel parts to you. I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host of The Cage, alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and of course, Mr. Colson Schultz is keeping us on the radio, on the stream, sportscage.com, X, and YouTube.
I was really wrong, just so you know. The Buffalo Sabres have never won the Stanley Cup. They should have, but then the toe in the crease goal happened with St. Louis, and they won that year.
You were called out on the YouTube stream.
And rightly so.
I should have called you out on that.
Rightly so.
I was too focused on the Shamrock Shakes, apparently.
Rightly so.
Priorities. Being
paid by the word here.
Still to come this on this Monday edition of the Sports Cage, we have Pat's Chat. So that means assistant coach of the Regina Pats, Ken Schneider, is going to be swinging by for a little bit here. And then we also have a great conversation coming up with someone who's going to be attending the Invitational Combine. It starts on Friday, right, Dave?
Yeah, it does. Friday in Waterloo, the invites have an opportunity to run the drills and then potentially earn an invitation to the main combine, which will happen at the end of March in Edmonton.
Jonathan Stevens of Etonia, Saskatchewan. He, you might recognize the name with the hilltops. So, yeah, Dave had a great little conversation with him earlier, and we're going to play that for you. Make sure you hang tight for that. And then, of course, we have our next guest standing by oh so patiently as we talk about ridiculous things like Shamrock Shakes. On the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, it is the pizza that is known worldwide for a reason, loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients and always cooked to perfection. Darian Durant.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Well, hey, Darian. Appreciate you taking the time as always. I gotta ask the question, Shamrock Shakes, yes or no?
I have no idea what that is. Please fill me in.
No way. Yes, you're my favorite person ever.
You just made Dave way too happy and way too giddy. It's a very seasonal treat at McDonald's. It's a milkshake that's mint flavored.
Oh, never heard of it. And I'm not a mint fan anyway. Mint candies, mint chocolate.
Oh.
I'm just not a fan of it.
Off to a terrible start.
See, maybe Darian being the high quality caliber athlete that he is, maybe he's like Connor McDavid, never been to McDonald's.
I can't say that now. McDonald's is always was always a go-to when you're in a crunch or late night or something like that. It's always a go-to. So I wish I could say that. I know, you see how bad the food is nowadays, but I'm just as guilty as everyone else.
Did you have a go-to?
Yeah, it used to be the double quarter pounder. The double quarter pounder, no onion, was my go-to before. But if I were to go today, it would just be like a spicy chicken sandwich, something like that.
The kids, though, are all in, right?
Oh, for sure. I went, what's the day? Monday? On Saturday to get Happy Meals and chicken nuggets and all that good stuff. They love it. So I try to treat them once a week.
Well, treat them to a Shamrock Shake and let me know what they think, okay? At least maybe I'll have more added to my tally here.
I'll try it.
But let's talk about some sports. I'm kind of going to go way off to the side here with this one, but over the weekend, Darian, I happened to notice during that Cleveland Cavaliers-Detroit Pistons game that there was some sort of power surge or something, and it resulted in the horn going off for 12 and a half minutes straight. So the poor people in the crowd, they're covering their ears, right? It was a technical difficulty, to say the least. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I bet Darian Durant has dealt with that. And then I remembered back to the 2007 game against Edmonton, where everyone stuck around in the pouring rain in the dark for a full hour. I bet you remember.
Yeah, that was crazy. First time in my life that I had a game, delayed because of weather. So that was new to me. And then, with no power, we have to sit there. We're worrying about if we're going to play. And then for such a delay to still have to go out there and play, it's just crazy to me. But that's when it kind of hit me and I learned, okay, this is a business, right? Bills have to be paid. We have to go to commercials, all this different type of things. So it's not just about the game anymore. It's not just about sports. This is a business. So that was my first introduction to it.
I brought this up with a couple of people around the office here, and the fans that were there remember sticking it out. And I think that's such a testament to CFL fans and Rider fans specifically, that they're willing to stand there in their ponchos, freezing their tails off in the dark to watch their team play.
Yeah, that's just dedication there, man, because there's no way that I would have stayed out there. I don't care, just the weather itself. I mean, who wants to stay out there and get wet? You don't know what's going on. You don't know even if the game will continue. So you're just there just on your loyalty and, your dedication to the team. And like I said, that was another intro to Saskatchewan fans and the dedication, just to have crowd noise when the game resumed, just to have that feeling of support, man. It was awesome. So my two intros to the CFL game was a delay and just the dedication to Saskatchewan fans, man. So it was great.
I'm going to have to check with Dan Croft, but I'm going to go on a limb here and suggest that maybe old Taylor Field didn't have a generator. So were you sitting in the dressing room in the dark?
Well, there's like an emergency. I think it was an emergency light that we had that hangs on right over the Gordy's little area of the equipment room. I'm not sure, but I know that there was no real light, and guys were just sitting in there, just talking to themselves, listening to music, whatever they could do to keep themselves going, because you just don't know what's going to happen. There's no updates coming in. We don't know if the weather will pass. We don't know about the power, what's going on. So it was just a crazy experience.
How do you keep your body right? Because obviously hydration is a thing, but again, you're fine-tuned athletes. So like at some point you're probably thinking, well, should I eat something or not?
Yeah, I mean, you just try to eat small, make sure you don't get full or put too much food in your stomach, because, it could end up on the field out there. So you don't want to do that. But I mean, guys just stretch. We would have groups, different position groups, guys sitting around stretching. Some guys back in the weight room or in the training room riding a bike, keeping their limbs loose, different things like that. But I mean, when you just don't know what's going on or the time frame behind it, I mean, there's not much you can do. You just have to try to stay as ready as you can. And I'm sure for just like myself, everyone in the locker room, it was new to them as well. So you're just learning on the fly for the most part.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Again, boy, I'm really going out there today. But I bet you Luke Mullender wished that game was on a Tuesday. And every position was glad that it wasn't, because of Toonie Tuesdays in the locker room with Gordy and the KFC in the room, right?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Luke used to be first in line for Toonie Tuesday. He could not wait until that day came. But, yeah, I mean, look, it was all part of the tradition. And, I mean, we know how the wind is, the weather. you never know what to expect in Saskatchewan. Even other teams will tell you that. I mean, there was a game postponed this past year, so you just never know, man. That's Saskatchewan for you.
I mean, you still came out on top with the win in that one, though, right? I think it ended just after midnight. So was there some celebrations happening after that, or were you just bagged and ready to go to bed?
No, we were ready to go, man. We were dressed in those, our pads and our equipment for so long. And, thanks to having a veteran like Kerry Joseph, who just nothing could bother him, right? He's ready to play 24 hours a day. This guy just wakes up ready to lift weights and throw a football. So luckily we had a guy like that could, lead us to victory.
Well, lifting weights, throwing football, that's going to be on full display. In Waterloo this weekend, it's the Invitational Combine, so like kind of the pre-combine, right, where athletes get an opportunity to earn a spot in the full combine. Do you remember that process when you were younger, and what must be going through those athletes' minds right now?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, you get one opportunity to go out there and show what you can do, show that you can get invited to, the show. And, I went through the same thing. I wasn't invited to the combine, but I did have a pro day. And I think that this will be a similar feeling for these guys when you're getting out there, the scouts. Everyone has a dream as a kid to play football at the highest level. And like I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for these guys. So there'll be a lot of nerves, but I think that the guys will be ready to go and to show every team and show the league that they deserve to go to the big show and, get an opportunity to play at the highest level.
And it's interesting that you say that. Maybe you can help explain the difference between a combine and a pro day. I was speaking with a strength and conditioning coach, and he said it's amazing the athletes and how they are preparing themselves, whether it be for the combine or a pro day, which they say more athletes are doing. Can you explain the difference and what that might mean to observers of the combine or pro day?
Yeah, so the combine is all about numbers. This is about testing. It's about your 40-yard dash, your broad jump, your vertical, your short shuttle, everything that, can be tested so the scouts can compare numbers to previous guys and see where you stack up against, some of the top tier guys in the league. And then when it comes to pro day, now it's about how do you move? Execution and more football-related drills. For quarterbacks, now you get to throw every route you're throwing to familiar receivers. At the combine, these are guys from every team in the country. You're not familiar with how they run their routes, their body movements, the timing. It can throw you off a little bit. And I think that's why you see a lot of these top-tier quarterbacks refusing to throw at the combine, because you just want to be in your comfort zone. You want to be with receivers that you understand, where you can throw timing and show NFL scouts or CFL scouts as well that, you have the timing to make these throws that it's going to take to be successful at the next level. So pro day, you look at it and you just focus on football-related drills. And then the combine, it's all about timing and showing where you stack up against the other guys.
Is it frowned upon, the quarterbacks that say they won't throw at combines, or no?
I don't think so. I think at this point, scouts understand and they know that, guys want to be as perfect as possible or as close to perfect as possible. And the only way to do that is be in familiar territory, be familiar with the receivers you're throwing to. I mean, if you can imagine each and every throw you make at the combine is to a different receiver, a guy you've never met before, a guy you've never thrown the ball to before. And any slight thing, it could look like, the timing's off and it goes on the quarterback. If the ball is incomplete, 9 times out of 10, people don't want to hear anything about what the receiver did. The quarterback was inaccurate. So with so much money on the line, the investment that these NFL teams are making into these guys, you want to show them that when you are working with a teammate that you can make it happen and you can be as good as possible. So they're going to decline the combine and go to their pro day where they can make it look as good as possible.
Obviously, you have the experience to watch a combine or a pro day and take away much more than we, the average fans, can, right? We look at the numbers. Oh, that's a 4.40. That's pretty darn good. What do you look for that are intangibles that maybe would lead you to believing, or that player personnel type people would go ahead and take another look at a player?
Well, I'm a big believer in film. What type of tape has this guy shown throughout the course of the season? is there consistency in his film? Is he showing that he's a football player? Because I mean, it's easy to go out there in shorts and a t-shirt and show and do these drills, and you look super athletic, or your 40 time is one of the greatest ever. But when you put on shoulder pads, a helmet, now you have about 10, 15 pounds worth of gear on. Now, can you play at that speed? Can you, be successful when, as a receiver, you see these receivers, they're running 4.2s nowadays, which is just blazing fast. But what do you do when there's a DB in front of you? If he jams you, if he knocks you off your route a little bit, can you still be able to maintain that type of speed? So I'm a guy that looks at film, and then I'll look at your numbers to see if your speed matches the way you play on film. There's some guys who don't test well at all, and I was one of those guys, never the fastest guy in the world anyway, but I just didn't test that well. But if you put a 300-pound guy behind me and he's running after me, then I bet you I can outrun him. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that you can't really get a feel for, just at the combine. You want to see his tape. You want to see him, being explosive on film. So that's what I like to stick to.
Of all the disciplines, and maybe I'll even throw in the interview, which is the most important then in your eyes when you're evaluating a player at a combine type event?
Well, it depends on the position. I mean, a lot of guys, especially on the defensive side, there are only a few coverages you can run, man-to-man, cover 3, cover 4. So there's only a couple cerebral things that you really care for with those position groups. As you get on the offensive side of the ball, where guys have to make adjustments and hot routes and sight adjust routes, and for the quarterback, he has to know where every guy on the offense and defense is on the field. Interviewing holds a lot more stake in that case. So it really just depends on your position. We all know quarterback, gets the most questions, gets the most emphasis put on the interviewing process, and that's how it should be, because these are the guys that have to direct everyone on the field, and you have to know where everyone is.
Did you get any of those questions?
Of course. I mean, it was to the point where some teams would send you a small playbook, right? And you had to memorize some of their plays, and, they know that other teams are doing this as well, so they just keep it short and sweet. But, they want to see how you retain information. They want to see if they can give you a play, if you're able to go on the board and just be able to recycle everything that they put out for you. I mean, learning a playbook is very important at quarterback, because there's so many coaching changes. You may go from an offensive coordinator with a spread offense this year to a more running-based offense the next year. So they want to see how you learn in case there's a coaching change. It's just so much behind these interviewing processes. Some of the things you don't even think about until, 5 years down the line. Oh, well, wow, they wanted to see how I pick up 2 different offenses just in case we fire our offensive coordinator next year. You may be going to a team who is having coaching trouble and know that their head coach is on his last straw. And, the front office wants to see where your head is at about that. So it's just all type of mental games and gymnastics that come behind that interviewing process.
Well, and I was just about to say, Darian, most of us have been in that position where you're going for a job interview and you're walking out of there like, damn, I said the wrong thing, or you're writing a test. So when it comes to that mental toughness, how do you exercise that muscle? It's got to be pretty hard to just learn.
It is. I mean, not luckily for me, but in my case, I've had my share of offensive coordinators, whether it be through promotion or through me playing horribly. I mean, it happens both ways. So, but I've been in different systems, and, that's allowed me to be able to kind of, look back on a different system and correlate this new system to what I've learned in the past. So I'm sure it's like that in every single aspect of life, just through experience. Some people are more experienced. Some people, go through jobs pretty fast. Some people can stay at their same job for 40 years. It just depends on the situation.
I know that speed is relative, so which would be quicker? Darian Durant's daughters hopping into the back seat when dad says he's buying a Happy Meal, Darian Durant getting chased by a 300-pound lineman, or Luke Mullender getting off the field into Gordy's desk on Toonie Tuesday?
All right, let's go with Luke first on Toonie Tuesday. Man, look, Luke is my boy, and he knows I love him, but he loves food, and he that's one of his go-tos. He loves good food. Not just any food, but good food. But back in the day when we weren't, privileged enough to always have the consistently good meal. I mean, for $2 to get a couple pieces of chicken. I mean, look, we were all in line for it. So I'll have to go with Luke first on that for sure. Then my kids, they love McDonald's. They can't wait till Fridays so they can have it. And then 300-pound guy coming after me will be last.
Seriously, if you're
forgive
coaching,
me, Luke. Forgive me.
You know what? Luke has some great insights, though, and we were talking about the Combine and players preparing for it. What would you coach a player that's going to the Combine this weekend in Waterloo? What would you tell them to do?
Just be yourself. I think sometimes you can go into these events with a lot of nerves, not just a little bit, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime. I keep saying that for these guys, but just try to be yourself and try to do everything that you've done on the field. Just bring that out all into one day and just try to be as calm as possible. I think nerves, they kill athletes in these big time environments more than anything. You overthink it. You think that you have to do more than you really have to, or you're worried about how a coach sees you or what team is over there. You see, all these different things around you, but you can only control what you can control, and that's your workout. So don't worry about everything else. Just relax. You're a great football player. That's why you've received this invite. So just try to go out there and do everything you've done since you were a child to get you to this point. And I think you'll be fine.
That's great advice. Fantastic. Okay, we'll get a Shamrock Shake for your kids this Friday.
Yes, I will.
Okay, I appreciate that. Maybe
it's not just a Canadian thing, right? Like I'm sure they have that here.
I might need to look it up.
Because menus are different around the world at different restaurants. So,
what are the Happy Meals better there or something?
No, but I'm just speaking on the Shamrock Shake. But it is almost it's almost St. Patrick's, right? So it may be a staple. I'll check it out.
Okay, you might have to, and then tell Dave how delicious they are. I know you said you hate mint.
I'll try for you, Dave. I don't like mint, but I'll try for you.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And then we can both tell everyone how bad they are after.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll revisit this next week, boys. Appreciate the time, as always, Darian. Fantastic to chat with you.
Right. Thank you.
All right. That's, of course, Mr. Darian Durant, the one, the only, brought to you by Campbell's Safety Consulting. I'm really stuck up on this whole Shamrock Shake thing.
You are.
I am really going to go get one after
somewhat
work today.
obsessive.
This is mint tea.
Oh.
I have mints in my pocket. It's a mint thing, okay? Don't judge me. Haters gotta hate. Why? Coming up next, Patch Chat. Don't give me that look. Assistant coach with the Regina Pats, Ken Schneider. He is going to be swinging by for Pat's Chat. So we're going to talk a little bit about this race for the playoffs. Of course, their game coming up against the Medicine Hat Tigers tomorrow, and everything that transpired over the weekend. It's the Sports Cage on the home of local sports. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. And the Montana's Briar, St. John, Newfoundland, 2 Saskatchewan rinks. Mike McEwen's rink out of Saskatoon. Then, of course, Regina's Kelly Knapp. And today, Knapp did fall to Quebec this morning, 8-7, 6th place in Pool A now. They are going to be back on the Pebble Dice. Actually, they are right now. I don't have a current update right now, but I will mention Saskatchewan McEwen rink. They played Northern Ontario earlier today and won that one 5-1, 3rd in Pool B at this point. Dave, do you have the current score by chance?
Just give me a...
Okay. I'll move along. NHL trade deadline week is upon us. 6 games on the schedule tonight. 2 Canadian teams in action. So it's going to be Philly in Toronto taking on the Leafs, and then Stars in Vancouver to take on the Canucks.
Tyler Smith scored 1 for Prince Edward Island in the opening end with the hammer. So Knapp forced him to 1 and now has hammer in 2.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for the update.
You're very welcome.
SportsCage.com poll. How do you feel about goalie fights in hockey? You can let us know your opinion by texting us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line anytime, or by simply going to SportsCage.com and voting on our poll there. Again, the Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. That was your sports ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors. And are we going to be heading out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now? I love that. Okay. Pat's Chat, something we like to do every Monday afternoon. Joining us this week, Pat's assistant coach, Ken Schneider. Ken, thank you so much for joining us, first of all.
Yeah, not a problem, guys.
Tight turnaround for you, Ken. Couple of games this past weekend. You got another one in front of you tomorrow. Pats have won 7 of their last 9, including that massive win over Saskatoon Saturday. So you're looking at tomorrow, potential first-round playoff matchup in the Medicine Hat Tigers. What's going through the club's mind right now?
Yeah, we got lots going on. We've had some guys get banged up here over the past weekend, and so we're trying to sort of work our way through that and see what our lineup might look like tomorrow night. To be honest with you, really haven't put a lot of thought into a series against Medicine Hat at this point. We're still driving towards making the playoffs, and I think that's really our focus. Obviously, Medicine Hat's in front of us tomorrow night. It'll be a tough game. They play really fast. They're very offensive minded, and it'll take everything we've got to compete tomorrow night.
Can you take me back to that game against Saskatoon on Saturday night? I thought the structure was outstanding and the composure. Just you give up a couple of goals, and it wasn't the first period that you wanted, but you still come away with it tied at 2 going into the second period. How did you see it?
Yeah, I would agree, Dave. Our first period was not good at all. We haven't played probably a bad period like that for a while. I think, though, that probably what we've relied on is in the past 7 to 9 games, we've gained some confidence. And so I think that really played a part in our ability to rebound. The goal right near the end of the period in the first by Deschamps really kind of, bounced us back. And, then we started to get our game going. We played the night before, travel, get home late. Saskatoon had to play the night before, so there's it's really a saw off there. But I really liked our guys and how we responded in the second period.
Can you talk about your transition game? The offense that you're getting from that was sensational on Saturday night. The way you were able to move the puck between the blue lines, especially, and just the way that your players were seeing the ice. Has that been a big progression in your eyes this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a couple of things, Dave. I think our neutral zone forecheck has been a lot better, so we've been able to turn more pucks over. And, I think our back end, we've got some guys that can really carry pucks up ice for us and transition us to the opponent's end of the rink in McNutt, Peranich, the likes of those guys. So Reese Hamilton, they make a big difference in our ability to get going the other direction. And so I think that's really helped us a lot. And the other thing I've liked a lot, Tabashnik, for example, moves the puck really well. We've rimmed pucks past the forecheck an awful lot, and so that helps us to escape our end zone.
You brought up his name. Ephraim McNutt just reached that 100 career points mark in his WHL career. How have you seen his game develop this season?
Yeah, he's been a real treat to have on our team, since we got him last year in the trade, and he's become a real great leader. I think we saw those qualities last year, obviously, when he got here, being one of our older players. But this year he's really helped us out in that component, and he's had more opportunity, obviously, probably more than he's had over the course of his WHL career, in being more offensive. And, we've, allowed him to have that opportunity to get up ice a lot more. And he's taken advantage of that. He skates well, so he can jump into the play, and he has the ability to get back if he gets caught up ice.
I was fascinated when you were talking with Dante and Drew the other night after the hockey game about the face-offs and how much work you put in on that on practice, and how you are tracking that in live time and real time throughout the course of a game. What are you watching for in the face-off circle that you need to see execution from your players in?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot of things that people probably don't realize that goes on just on what most people probably see as just a simple face-off, and it happens all game long. But really, we're looking for our players to be on their toes, so ready when the puck's dropped. Are we getting a pick on the opponent on the wings, so that if we don't win the battle clean, or if we do win the battle clean, that we give our defensemen time to get that puck and then start to make our play out of the zone. we're looking for what handiness is the opponent's. Does it look like he's setting up in the face-off circle that he might push it forward? And so we're talking to our forwards a lot about that, our centerman in particular, that you need to be aware he might try and slide it between your feet and step around you. And then, of course, our weak side winger, it's his responsibility, should that happen, that if our defense have already collapsed on their wingers, that it'll be your responsibility to meet that guy as he comes to the net. So there's a lot of things going on. Opponents are picking our players too, which is just part of the game. And, so you really have to battle and spin off checks to get to the point if they win a draw clean. We need to get in the shooting lane. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And then obviously we spend a fair bit of time just with our centermen and guys who take faceoffs, just practicing taking faceoffs and trying different techniques to win the draw.
Not a lot of games in the Western Hockey League with under 3 minutes to go in your own end. You're going to send a 15-year-old out to take a draw. Maddox Schultz performs well. I know there were some people in where we were sitting were in awe that, wow, Maddox is getting that much opportunity. And obviously it's well-deserved. It was bad puck luck that he gets hit by that shot coming from the point. But is there any update on him? And what does that say about what you've seen in his ability to take those critical draws late in games?
Yeah, well, I'll start first with his health. He's fine. He was at the rink this morning. He didn't skate this morning, but that had nothing to do with. He's got some bumps and bruises, but it's nothing serious. He was at school this morning, and I said, "Oh, you got a little free press out of the AAA midget site today," and some unknown about his well-being. But he's fine. He's 100%. And he's ready to go. As far as what he's doing for us, and being put in a position like that to play late in the game and to take an important face-off. He's proven over the course of this last probably month or so, he and Liam have spent more time with us, and I think that's probably really helped them, and it certainly helped us in that they get to practice with us pretty much every day, and they learn a lot more about our systems because they're not going to do the same things with the Patsies as they're doing with us, and it's a lot on those young guys. And I give them a lot of credit. They're both great kids that really want to learn. They want to get better. They're both very competitive. Maddox is. I think there's different styles of players, and I don't say one's better than the other. It's just a different style. Maddox tends to. He does play below the puck. He does defend pretty well, and. To be quite honest with you, he's one of the best face-off men we have. I've tracked it. I track it, like you said, live every day for every game. So I know exactly who's winning draws and who isn't, game by game, shift by shift.
How much communication is there with that live look at the face-offs, like with you and Brad and whomever, if you and Ryan are even communicating as well? How much is there?
Yeah, there's a fair bit. I'll walk over to Brad and or Smitty, even though he's running defense. No, the other night it was head coaching. But yeah, just to give them an update as to, I think you should put, just so you know, Brown right now is 3 for 4. Any face off on the right side, he's probably the guy you should be putting out there, or he's certainly one of them. And they all have stretches. I played center a lot, and we all have stretches where things aren't going right. And if you end up against a particular guy, some nights that guy just has your number. And so that's when you have to start looking at other options.
So for people like me that were watching the game and listening to Dante call it on Friday night, I know that when the buzzer was sounding, there was different emotions that went through my head. You're a coach. And I guess I should say that we should keep this media friendly, but what was going through your mind when you saw your goaltender leave the crease?
Yeah, I wasn't actually in Brandon that night. I was sick with the flu, so I was back here in Regina. I was like you, listening to Dante, who was pretty excited about the whole affair. You know what? I played in this league back in the early 80s, the Wickenheiser era. And so that wasn't an uncommon thing, to be quite honest with you. But I said to Brad and to Smitty the other day, I said, I think it's a bit of a rage. We've seen a couple fights in the NHL. And lo and behold, we've seen a bit more of it here in the Western League, with the goalies. So I don't know. It adds a little excitement for the fans. And, unfortunately cost us a little money. And at the end of the day, Brad had to sit a game out, but it certainly wasn't something that we had planned.
Since we're on the topic, though, why don't you talk a little bit about the goaltending situation with the Regina Pats right now? Of course, Pats assistant coach Ken Schneider with us. You have Marek Schlankner, you have Tabashanuk. You guys have a pretty nice dual threat going on there for you.
Yeah, we do. It's kind of developed obviously over the course of the season. We had a bit of a different start to our year. We had Kelton Pine here, who had been here for a couple of years already, and Kelton had some real rough luck with a couple of broken fingers, one on either hand, unfortunately, and which, as a goalie, now you've got a broken finger on a blocker and a glove side. So we were in a position where we had to bring somebody in, and guys went out and found Schlenker, and Marek's been just great for us. And Tabby, of course, he's a local kid. He's really starting to develop. I've quite liked him. I think he's done a great job. He's got a bit of pedigree. He's won at the highest level in AAA in Canada. And if I recall watching that game, he was outstanding against Quebec. So he's played in some pressure situations. He's super competitive. And, I think the big key, too, is that they're real good friends. They both have really good work ethic. They don't come to the rink to, sit around and stretch and just hang around with the boys. They get themselves prepared to play, and they work really hard in practice. So I think they push each other, but at the same time, there's a lot of mutual respect.
Tomorrow night, Medicine Hat Tigers. We media people like to say it's a statement game. It's an opportunity. How do you keep that out of the locker room and just focus on what needs to happen?
Yeah, I think for us tomorrow night, it'll be more about, making sure that we're really competitive. We'll need to really care about the puck and not turning the puck over. We know we're probably going to play in our own end a fair bit. That's the reality of a team that we're playing. There, I quoted a game the other night that they played Calgary, and Calgary hardly touched the puck, to be quite honest with you. So, we're going to play a real fast team. We need to play their stick on the ice. We need to be in the right places. And, they will risk. And when they risk, that's when we need to take advantage and turn the puck over and get up ice quickly.
Pat's assistant coach Ken Schneider joining us for Pat's Chat. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Ken, and we'll see you at the rink tomorrow night.
Yeah, Teagan, Dave, it's been great. Enjoy myself. Take care.
Thanks so much again. Ken Schneider joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Appreciate his time as always. And by the way, Western Pizza, it's a pizza known right across Canada for a reason. So maybe hit him up tonight.
Why not?
Order in.
The number 2, and no Shamrock Shakes.
Oh,
sorry.
We're back to the Shamrock Shakes.
Sorry, I just had to put that in.
We are going to be giving away tickets to that Regina Pats game. Pats, Tigers, Brant Center tomorrow night. If you've texted in the word Pats on the Prairie Mobile text line, then you're entered in. You're in the draw. And you know what? If you haven't done so yet, you got a couple more minutes here. Text us now, 306-936-6262. Send the word Pats and your name, and Colson will make the draw at the end of the show here. We're about 15 minutes away from that. So if you want a chance to score a free pair of tickets, now is your chance to do that. And this is the Monday installment of the Sports Cage, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. If you are a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smoke'em Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, and all diesel hard products. Now, with that, I think we got to go. We got to take a quick break here. We did have, I shouldn't say we, Dave had a conversation with Jonathan Stevens of Etonia, Saskatchewan, Hilltops player up in Saskatoon, linebacker, and he is off to the CFL Invitational Combine this Friday. So that conversation coming up to wrap up the show. But in the meantime, appreciate you joining us. On behalf of Colson and Dave and myself, good night from the Sports Cage studio.
We're so pleased to be joined on the line by Saskatoon Hilltop linebacker Jonathan Stevens. And Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about where you've been, because last time we were talking was fresh off a Canadian Bowl championship and things were going well. So how have things been for you?
Things have still been very well. Yeah, we've been training a lot, getting ready for the combine, and just exciting things are coming up, so lots to look forward to.
Well, you're headed to the CFL Invitational Combine in Waterloo. What are you expecting this weekend, obviously never having attended an event like this before?
Well, I've been a part of some football SASC ones there when I was in high school, but I expect it's going to be a lot of like phenomenal athletes that are there. Like they're trying to get into the league, and I assume they want this like as much as I do. So it's going to be great competitors and just an amazing time, I think.
Have you approached your off season then any differently to prepare yourself for this event where it's unlike a game that you would be competing in?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's like you said, it's not a game. It is different. They require different skills. It's more about, especially for the actual skills that are being tested, it's not as much reactionary as you would see in a game. It's more just get into the mind of a track athlete or someone who just when they have to go, they just go. They don't think about anything. They just have one specific goal to reach. Yeah.
Jonathan Stevens, when people talk about you, one of the characteristics they talk about is your selflessness and how much of a team guy you are. How different is this for you? Because it's not team, it's individual.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of there definitely is an individual part to it, but I wouldn't be able to get here and say, I got this opportunity without all the people that have helped me along the way, like the training with Ignite and them, like they've taught me so many little things that I didn't even know that I was doing wrong, or like they were able to help me get that little bit better. And same with the Hilltops, without Coach Sarge and the entire organization, like I wouldn't have been given this opportunity, because they've been really good to me, and I'm just gonna try to represent them as much as I can, in a positive light.
Jonathan, you mentioned Joel Lipinski, the team over at Ignite. How big are the differences or changes or tweaks that you have to make? Like, is it minuscule or is it transformational in the fact that you've got to overhaul everything you've done?
Well, I'd say like the tweaks may seem like you said, minuscule, but it creates such a difference. We say football is a game of inches. Well, like it's basically saying like every little bit matters. Well, that's the exact same for getting ready, and they've been phenomenal. Like it's been an honor to work with them, and they've been so supportive, and they've been very patient with me. I know I'm very I'm not like I know when I first got there I wasn't quite where I should have been, but they've been able to really get me into shape there for this combine.
So without giving away too many top secrets, can you tell us about one of the tweaks or something that they saw that they've helped you rediscover or reimagine your game with?
My footwork a little there for running. I'd lean too much forward, or I'd bring my foot too much forward, and then I'd end up running on my heels almost. And then they would say, well, just bring your foot back a little bit, and then you run on your toes more, like the balls of your feet, so you can get that more consistent power and consistent speed throughout the entire running, and you're not collapsing on your foot is what they how they explained it. Stuff like that. Like it's just I had no idea that I did run like that beforehand, but now it just comes to me a lot better.
Okay, so I would imagine that if I was to call your parents in Etonia right now, and they would probably say, yeah, you've been running for most of your life. So how difficult is it to change the way you run?
Well, I don't find it as difficult, because you always have to come into these new experiences, and when you're getting coached up, you have to almost like think that you haven't learned anything, that you have to think like, I don't know anything here, so I got to listen to them, and whatever they have to do, because they've been doing this forever, and I've only started doing this, if that makes sense. Like I just have to listen. But if I have that mindset, like I didn't find it as hard to overcome the running or anything like that.
Nice. Now, the last question that I have, obviously you spent a tremendous amount of time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as part of their local player initiative. Can you tell me how much of an advantage that gives you heading into Waterloo?
Absolutely. It's very interesting because when I go to this combine, I'm showcasing not just for them, but for everybody in the league. And so that's one thing that's a little strange because, obviously whatever team, if they do end up taking me or for anything, like I'd be grateful. But just talking to, when I was with the Riders there, like talking to the players and listening to some of their experiences of how they got to the league or like what they did at their combine or their pro day, it's just a little interesting because in my mind it's like I've been part of this league before where many of these guys haven't. So it's just like it's not as I don't want to say it's not as eye-opening, but it's like I'm almost kind of used to it more than some guys with this atmosphere, if that makes any sense.
Completely does. So do you have individual goals for each event or competition, if you will, at the Combine, or is it just simply as I got to go and perform my best and let the numbers do what they do?
Well, obviously, you watch guys from like years past and you see the stats there and you get an idea. But there's definitely a few events for sure that I'm like, this is the number I want to hit or more. And there's others that are like, okay, if I can get a little bit better than this area because the measurements are, they're not milliseconds, but they're like 0.01 seconds is kind of an eye opener for some teams. So if I can get around that area, but yes, I do have a goal for each event.
Jonathan Stevens, you're one of the best guys around. I wish you all the best and all the success in Waterloo this weekend. Thank you so much for some of your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for getting in touch. This was awesome.